Chapter 193. After the afternoon exam, Toru Watanabe, Osamu Kanai, and Keisuke Saito planned to go to the family dining room to read books. The family dining room closest to Kanagawa High School is called Bawaka, which is frequented by the surrounding students. In April of this year, in the beverage area, Toru Watanabe used 150,000 yuan to capture Yoshimi Tamamo. At that time, his system had just awakened, and he was 1 month away from his 16th birthday. He worked part-time every day to save money for his family, thinking that he had the world in his hands. As a result, after the Golden Week, just 10 days after May, the world was indeed in his hands, but his world was in the hands of Miki Kujo. Today is the first day of the exam week. The family dining room is almost full of students working hard for tomorrow's exam. Toru Watanabe and the other two are lucky. When they pushed the door open, they saw a couple sitting on the sofa by the window. Toru Watanabe sat alone on one side, while Keisuke Saito and Osamu Kanai sat together. "What do you want to eat?" Osamu Kanai, who was sitting outside, picked up the menu. "I don't need it, I will feel sleepy after eating. Just order a drink for me." Keisuke Saito took out the Mandarin exam from his bag. "Watanabe, what about you?" Osamu Kanai asked again. Toru Watanabe looked at the menu in his hand. On the new cover, there is a delicate cake pattern, decorated with cherries. This season is the time when the Republic of Chile relies on cherries to make money. "Give me a cherries cake, and a drink for me," he said. "Okay." Osamu Kanai returned the menu to the waiter. "I want the best-selling sushi and soba noodles, and a drink for me set." "Okay, please wait a moment." After ordering, the three went to the beverage area to get their favorite drinks and read books. Osamu Kanai ate while looking at the modern society. Keisuke Saito was immersed in solving problems. After solving a problem, he immediately compared the answers. If there is a little difference, he will study it hard. If he doesn't understand, he will ask Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe cut a small piece of cake with a knife and fork, ate it while writing and drawing on the math problem book. The three are seriously working hard. Suddenly someone came to talk. "Kuen Watanabe, Sai-2, Koshi-I, you also come to the study meeting." Toru Watanabe put the knife in his mouth and looked up. He saw Aoi and Rin Kiyono in winter clothes. In winter clothes. He glanced at Mokue and set his eyes on Chinyi Rin. She wore a rather fashionable white windbreaker over her Shenchuan school uniform. The hem of the windbreaker revealed half of her pleated skirt. Further down were her calves, which were covered by black stockings. The curves were beautiful and graceful. Just looking at those legs made Toru Watanabe happier than solving a complicated math problem. "Watanabe, what are you looking at?" "Nothing." "Liar. Isn't it enough that you look at me every day in the club? You show that stupid look every time you see me. There haven't been any club activities for 3 days. Do you know how I've been through this?" Toru Watanabe finally looked up and met Rin Kiyono's eyes. Kuen Watanabe?" Aoi Ichiki whispered. "Itsuki, why are you here?" Toru Watanabe asked. "I've been standing here for a long time. I didn't even greet you." "That's right. Watanabe, you're too rude." Osamu Kanai chimed in. "Sorry, there's a problem with my words," Toru Watanabe said. "What I meant was, why are you guys here? The results of the last study session were very good, so I invited Kiyono." "I see." Toru Watanabe looked at Aoi Ichiki. Aoi Ichiki felt uncomfortable under his gaze. She recalled the time when she was scolded for having thick legs in the piano club. What's wrong?" Aoi Ichiki asked hesitantly. Toru Watanabe pointed at her and turned to Rin Kiyono. "Itsuki's taste is exactly the same as mine. Be careful of her." "No, it's best to stay away from her." "Kuen Watanabe." Aoi Ichiki's face was red as she stomped her feet. Osamu Kanai's eyes were wide open. If he didn't know that Aoi Ichiki liked girls, he would have been jealous of Toru Watanabe. Rin Kiyono had a headache. "Itsuki, Aren't we here to study? Hurry up and find a seat. Okay. Aoi Ichiki looked around the store. It was crowded, and only the bar table was left. Osamu Kanai looked at her expression and immediately said, "Why don't you sit with us? This is a table for 6 people, so it's okay to squeeze." Aoi Ichiki looked at his enthusiasm and hesitated. But she remembered that she took the initiative to ask Rin Kiyono out, so she didn't want to let her come here for nothing. "Thank you, Guajing classmate. Sorry to disturb you," she said politely. "It's okay, you 2 girls can sit together." Osamu Kanai picked up his bag. Keisuke Saito stood up as well. "No need," Rin Kiyono suddenly said. While everyone was puzzled, she looked at Toru Watanabe. "You go over. It's indeed faster for 1 person to move than 2 people," Toru Watanabe said. The other 3 people didn't understand what was going on. They saw him pick up his bag and squeeze Osamu Kanai in, occupying Osamu Kanai's original seat. Toru Watanabe's seat was empty. Aoi Ichiki didn't want to sit there, but Rin Kiyono didn't move, so she had to sit there first. Rin Kiyono took off his windbreaker, tidied it up, and sat in Toru Watanabe's original seat. The waiter came over and took their orders. "I want a honey cake and a drink." While Rin Kiyono was looking at the menu seriously, Aoi Ichiki had already ordered their food skillfully. Rin Kiyono flipped through the menu from beginning to end, but she didn't find anything she wanted to eat. Finally, she asked Toru Watanabe, "Is the cherry cake good?" "The cake is no different from the usual ones. I haven't eaten the cherry yet." Rin Kiyono reached out her fair and slender hand, pinched the cherry stem on the cake, and put it into her mouth. "The sweetness is average." After she commented, she said to the waiter, "Drink." "Thank you." "Okay, please wait a moment." After Rin Kiyono watched the waiter leave, she looked at Toru Watanabe, who was staring at her. She tilted her head slightly in confusion. She spoke to everyone in a very strict tone, and it was the same when she spoke to Toru Watanabe. But listening carefully, there was a slight temperature difference compared to when she spoke to other people. A small part of the time it was hotter, but most of the time it was colder. "Well, you ate my cherry. I saved it for last as a reward for my hard work." "Liar." After judging, Rin Kiyono said confidently, "This is something I just learned recently. If I accidentally eat the same food and drink the same bottle of water with a boy, it will make the boy's heart beat and he can't help but let his imagination run wild." "I didn't even touch the cherry. You call this eating the same food? At least use my fork to eat a bite of the cake, right?" Toru Watanabe handed over the clean fork in his hand. Under the chandelier overhead, the fork reflected the light. Rin Kiyono shrank back slightly with a look of disdain. "Forget about the indirect kiss. How can the heart beat without the indirect kiss? How can you let your imagination run wild?" Toru Watanabe took a small bite of the cake with the knife and fork. "Here, you can have it." Rin Kiyono hid further away with her hands in front of her chest. "Watanabe-san, it's just a cherry. Is it necessary to be like this? If you want to eat it, I can let you eat until you're full every day." "You said that?" "Of course." Rin Kiyono frowned slightly as if saying, "What's there to confirm about such a small matter? But I didn't expect you to like eating cherries so much that you won't even give it to me." "I like cherries the most." "Liar." After saying that, Rin Kiyono suddenly put her hand on her chin and slowly smiled. Her expression was no longer fearful, but superior. She said mockingly, "Don't tell me you didn't want to eat cherries just now, but wanted to take the opportunity to flirt with me? That's enough, start studying. You're quite cute, Watanabe-san." Rin Kiyono Kagaya said with a smile. Toru Watanabe turned a deaf ear and picked up a pen to solve a math problem. Math was too beautiful. In this world, there was nothing more beautiful than math. "System, open your eyes. Look at how the players are being bullied by the NPCs. Do something for me. You have a new mail." Toru Watanabe picked up the iced red tea and stirred the ice with a straw. The ice cubes collided with the glass, making a crisp sound. At this time, Aoi Ichiki said, "Kiyono-san and Kuin Watanabe have such a good relationship." Even though they were sitting at the same table, the three of them could only watch the two of them go back and forth, and no one else could get a word in. It was as if they were performing a couple's crosstalk, the kind where the husband was naughty and the wife was just right to control him. "The two of us." Rin Kiyono pulled her hair behind her ear. "If we have to choose between a good and a bad relationship, then fine." Aoi Ichiki had never seen such a perfect tsundere. But cute. Super cute. Super cute. In short, she was cute. No wonder Kuin Watanabe had a beauty like Kujo-san, but still secretly dated Kiyono-san. It was all because she was too cute. Aoi Ichiki thought that Toru Watanabe was a scumbag, and it was pardonable. If it was her, she wouldn't be able to hold it in either. Toru Watanabe didn't notice Aoi Ichiki's expression, otherwise, when he became the prime minister in the future, he would definitely make her the head of the cabinet. He pretended to be thinking about math problems and opened the system interface. The scene was familiar, and the system was activated during a math class. Temporary event. Game time. December 21st, 1612. Tokyo on Christmas Day is decorated like a dream. The streets are filled with romance as the lights are lit. Event content. On Christmas Day, kiss your lover Miki Kujo, friend Rin Kiyono, lover Mayasahi, or teacher Aona Koizumi under the local landmark, Sky Tower or Tokyo Tower. Event time, December 25th, before midnight. Event reward, ability to select a specific skill every month. Special reward 1. Player kisses Miki Kujo and Mayasahi, 1 New Year gift pack. Special reward 2. Player kisses Miki Kujo and Aona Koizumi, 1 quality plus 1 New Year gift pack. Special reward 3. Player kisses Miki Kujo and Rin Kiyono, 1 quality plus 3 New Year gift pack. Special reward 4. Player kisses 4 people, 1 quality plus 4 New Year gift pack. Hint. Special reward can only be triggered once, December 25th at midnight. Toru Watanabe could understand kissing Rin Kiyono and Mayasahi, but what did this have to do with Koizumi-sensei? System, I'm letting you use it, not for you to mess around. However, this event could be said to be the most conscientious in history, and the basic event reward was almost guaranteed. On the night of the 24th, he only needed to kiss Miki Kujo under Tokyo Tower or Sky Tower. Special reward 1. Kissing Miki Kujo and Mayasahi could also be fought for. As for the other 3, Toru Watanabe chose to give up. Aside from his teacher Aona Koizumi, he himself was not willing to kiss Rin Kiyono for the sake of the system's mission reward. The waiter brought Aoi Ichiki's honey cake, and the 5 of them focused on studying. At 6 o'clock, they prepared to rest for a while and continue studying after dinner. Just as they were discussing what to eat, someone pushed open the door of the family dining room and entered. Toru Watanabe and the others could see them as soon as they entered the room. This was also the reason why Toru Watanabe and the others were able to grab a seat the moment the couple stood up, and Aoi Ichiki easily found them. Tap tap tap. Amid the melodious footsteps, the lively atmosphere of the family dining room changed. It was as if the bustling metropolis had suddenly turned into a green forest with the crisp chirping of birds. When Toru Watanabe heard this sound, he subconsciously thought, "This customer is in a good mood." Just as he was thinking, Aoi Ichiki, who was sitting opposite him, suddenly stood up and waved in the direction of the door. "Senpai mai." Toru Watanabe did not bat an eyelid. He and the other 2 boys turned their heads and looked at the person who had just arrived. The tall and pretty Mayasahi, who was wearing a blue windbreaker and carrying a backpack, walked towards them expressionlessly. Her footsteps clicked as she stood beside everyone's table. "Good evening, Senpai Mai." Aoi Ichiki stood up happily. "Good evening." Mayasahi replied calmly. "Senpai Mai, are you here for dinner too? Are you alone? Do you want to join us?" The scene in front of him and Aoi Ichiki's reaction felt familiar to Toru Watanabe, as if he had seen it somewhere before. "Okay." After agreeing, Mayasahi looked at Rin Kiyono emotionlessly. Rin Kiyono stood up and walked into the aisle. Aoi Ichiki hurriedly removed the backpack and clothes from the sofa. Mayasahi did not move. She continued to look at Rin Kiyono and said in a calm and pleasant voice, "I like to sit outside. I don't mind if it's outside, but I don't like to sit opposite men." Rin Kiyono said. "That." Toru Watanabe pointed at himself. "I know you're human, Toru Watanabe." Rin Kiyono crossed her arms and made a pose that said she would never sit in the middle. There were many types of people. Toru Watanabe didn't say that they were all men. Toru Watanabe didn't say that out loud. Mayasahi also stood there without moving. The scene froze. The restaurant was very lively, but it was as silent as the eye of a typhoon. The waiters who were about to order did not dare to come forward. They thought that Mayasahi was here to catch them in the act. At this moment, only the brave and responsible can stand up. Toru Watanabe, who was also sitting in the aisle, stood up. "Senior Mai, please have a seat." Mayasahi looked at him for 3 seconds, nodded, and was about to sit down. "Wait." Aoi Ichiki picked up her backpack and jacket. "Kawai-san, can we change seats?" Okay. In short, after a series of changes, the seating arrangement was as follows. The side facing away from the restaurant door, aisle, Mayasahi, happy, Aoi Ichiki, excited, Keisuke Saito, cowering in the corner, window. The side facing the restaurant door, aisle, Rin Kiyono, none, Toru Watanabe, thinking about going back, Osamu Kanai, earning, window. Chapter 194. After the sky turned dark, the restaurant started playing Christmas songs during dinner time. Jingle Bells, by Child's Christmas's Favorites. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells. The atmosphere in the restaurant was lively. Under the warm lighting, the customers ate happily. The 5 of them rang the bell, called the waiter, and ordered their own dinner. Toru Watanabe ate potato curry and grilled chicken skewers. The rich curry taste was slightly spicy, and he ate it with rice. After chewing and swallowing, he picked up the grilled chicken skewers. He bit a piece of chicken and a piece of shiitake mushroom and pulled them into his mouth. The grease exploded in his mouth. At this moment, he experienced the joy and satisfaction of eating. It's almost Christmas. Aoi Ichiki held a French fry dipped in ketchup. Christmas trees have been put up in many places, and some shopping malls are already having discounts. Osamu Kanai took a big bite of his hamburger and chewed as he spoke. "Discounts? I want to buy New Year's clothes." Aoi Ichiki said. "My family also ordered a Christmas cake in advance." Keisuke Saito said. Aoi Ichiki's gaze drifted to Mayasahi. "Mayasahi, do you have a date for Christmas?" "No." Mayasahi focused on eating her curry rice. "Then do you want to go shopping with me? Eat KFC and buy clothes?" Senpai has already received a recommendation from Tokyo University, so you can play to your heart's content. Aoi Ichiki said smoothly. She had probably thought about this for a long time. "There's a family gathering." "I see." Aoi Ichiki tried not to appear too disappointed. "Kiyono classmate, do you have a date for Christmas?" Rin Kiyono wiped her mouth with a napkin and was about to answer when Toru Watanabe spoke first. "Itsuki classmate, what do you want?" His eyes were filled with suspicion and warning. "Kuin Watanabe, you misunderstood me. I'm just asking." Aoi Ichiki explained unhappily. "What are you trying to explain?" "I'm asking you what you're going to do for Christmas." Toru Watanabe asked in confusion. Rin Kiyono glanced at him. "Who would believe you?" Aoi Ichiki muttered, and then said, "I'm going to go out with my friends in the band." "What about you, Kuin Watanabe?" "I'm going to Kiyono's classmate's house." Mukue exclaimed in surprise. Mayasami stopped eating and looked at Toru Watanabe expressionlessly. No one doubted him. Even Koi Shio and Saito Keisuke stared at Toru Watanabe in surprise. Anyways, didn't these two know the inside story? Aoi Ichiki quickly asked, Then what about Kujo classmate? She's your real girlfriend. Aren't you going to spend Christmas with her? Is that really okay? Broke up? Masahi asked lightly. Toru Watanabe sighed and didn't say a word. At the small table of 5, the atmosphere became silent and awkward. The store was still playing Jingle Bells on loop. The smell of all kinds of food rushed to the tip of the nose, and the warm air blew through the hair. At the next table, the child who was blowing on the soup dumplings innocently said to his parents that he hoped Santa Claus would give him a real Gundam this year. Rin Kiyono rolled her eyes at Toru Watanabe and sighed helplessly. She explained, "My family is holding a party. He's going to attend it with Kujo classmate. So that's how it is. You scared me to death. I thought I asked something I shouldn't have asked. Kun Watanabe, you're too annoying," Aoi Ichiki said angrily. Tomorrow, Mai continued to eat the curry with a spoon, taking small bites. Her lips were pink and seductive, like a flower bud. It made people want to protect her, but also aroused evil thoughts to destroy her. But if that's the case, then Kiyono classmate won't be able to come out and play on Christmas Eve, right? Aoi Ichiki said regretfully for Rin Kiyono. Yumiki classmate, Rin Kiyono said without interest. It's already been 2 semesters of first year. Instead of playing, why don't you think about whether you should choose the arts or the science department in second year? Do you want to go to a public school or a private school? I haven't seriously thought about this. What about everyone? Arts or science? Aoi Ichiki rolled the fries in the ketchup and looked at the other 4 first-year students. I'll choose science. Keisuke Saito, who couldn't fit into the atmosphere, said his second sentence. Then I'll also choose science. Osamu Kanai casually decided, Watanabe, you should also choose science. Maybe when the time comes, the 3 of us can continue to be in the same class. Toru Watanabe thought for a moment and replied, We'll talk about this later. I'm not sure. He didn't know if it was because he had been reading novels recently, but compared to science, he preferred arts. But whether it was arts or science, it didn't matter. He didn't plan to become a scientist, nor did he have the idea of becoming a writer. He was very clear about what he was doing now. He also had a clear goal, such as winning first place in the country. But when he graduated, what would he do? Thinking about this, Toru Watanabe suddenly felt a little lost. Have you thought about what you plan to do in the future? Rin Kiyono, who was about to say her choice of arts and science, heard his question and changed her words. Inherit the family business. She frowned slightly, as if she felt helpless about this kind of life. She obviously didn't like it, but out of responsibility and obligation, she had to do it. Toru Watanabe looked away from Rin Kiyono's face and looked at the person opposite her. What about tomorrow? He asked. Mai Ming drank a mouthful of iced red tea and only used her pair of clear eyes to show a faint pondering expression. After 3 or 4 seconds, she said softly, Music. Is it the bass horn? When talking to Masahi, Aoi Ichiki's voice was always lighter. Masahi shook her head gently, her bangs swaying. Under the dining room lights, it looked like a sparkling lake. Oboe. Rin Kiyono's big black pearl-like eyes moved to the far right and stared at Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe looked at her in confusion, then picked up the chicken skewers. You want to eat? He asked with his eyes. Rin Kiyono looked away. Why? Senior's bass horn is so good. Aoi Ichiki looked at Masahi in confusion. Masahi looked at Toru Watanabe. Watanabe, it's very good. I want to try. Because of this. Aoi Ichiki seemed to understand. When I heard Kun Watanabe's oboe, I was also shocked. I didn't know there was such a beautiful instrument. She suddenly waved her arm. It's decided. I also want to continue playing and become a professional bass horn player. I want to join the same performance group as senior. Senpai, wait for me. Masahi nodded indifferently. What about Koi-san and Sato-san? What do you plan to do in the future? Only Aoi Ichiki cared about the 2 of them. I want to be a star baseball player who earns $500 million a year. Osamu Kunai said with a raised face. I want to work in the video game industry and make good games. Compared to the others who were just talking about it, Keisuke Saito's expression was more serious. He just wanted to talk about girly games, right? Is desire really the greatest motivation for people? Tetsumasa Watanabe was thinking about his own desires when Aoi Ichiki asked him, Kun Watanabe, what do you plan to do in the future? Toru Watanabe had finished his curry, so he put down his spoon and wiped his hands with a wet towel. It's because I don't know what to do that I'm asking you guys, he said. Rin Kiyono also finished her dinner and gave Watanabe a contemptuous smile. Watanabe-san, if you can't find a job, you can come find me. Are you going to support me? Can't you be a little more mature? I think you're still capable of cleaning the toilet. If I'm only responsible for your toilet, I think I can still accept. Shut up. Capitalist's face is always changing, Toru Watanabe said with a face full of hatred for the rich. When Rin Kiyono sighed with a headache, Aoi Ichiki changed the topic. Kun Watanabe, what was your childhood dream? Childhood dream? Yes. Aoi Ichiki nodded. She said, childhood dreams are usually unrealistic, right? But with Kun Watanabe's excellence, even if it's unrealistic, you can still try. Before you can find a goal, how about trying out your childhood dream? What Yumiki-san said makes sense. That's right. Osamu Kunai shouted as if he remembered something. I remember. Didn't you aspire to be the Prime Minister since you were young? His voice was very loud, and the family at the next table looked over. Except for Toru Watanabe, Rin Kiyono, and Mayasahi, the other two people at the table were very embarrassed. Lower your voice. Keisuke Saito scolded in a low voice. Osamu Kunai lowered his head in embarrassment and continued to eat his burger. Toru Watanabe didn't correct the phrase, aspire to be the Prime Minister, nor did he say that his childhood dream was to be a civil servant who just lived and died. Yumiki-san, what was your childhood dream? Toru Watanabe asked. Me? My childhood dream was to open a cake shop before kindergarten and eat it whenever I wanted. After elementary school, I wanted to marry Xiong from the Ueno Zoo. I haven't given up on this dream yet. Xiong. Panda. Female. Speaking of pandas, Aoi Ichiki's face was full of excitement. She continued. Every year, I go to the Ueno Zoo to see pandas. When I take a bath, I watch videos of them on YouTube. I heard that every family in China's Sichuan province has a panda. I'm so envious, I want to raise one too. Toru Watanabe didn't know what to say for a moment. He said helplessly, Yumiki-san, that's fake. How can every family have one? I saw a lot of China's comments on Twitter and YouTube. There are even pictures. Then it's real. After dinner, everyone continued to study. Aoi Ichiki had the idea of trying it out and asked Mayasahi to stay and teach her homework. She didn't expect it to succeed. She almost jumped up in joy. There was only the sound of pens scratching on paper at the dining table. Senpai, how do you solve this question? Aoi Ichiki moved the textbook between the two of them. In the process of moving, she accidentally touched the pen. The pen slid down the smooth table and rolled on the ground for a while before finally stopping at Rin Kiyono's feet. Rin Kiyono put down the pen, tucked her hair behind her ear, and bent down to pick it up. Thank you, Kiyono. Rin Kiyono returned the pen to Aoi Ichiki and picked up her own pen. When she was about to continue, she suddenly asked, Senpai, do you have the habit of taking off your shoes? Don't answer, don't answer, don't answer. This was Toru Watanabe's mental state. I'm sorry. Mayasahi put her sore feet back into her shoes. Don't apologize, it's okay. A lot of Japanese people have the habit of taking off their shoes. I was just asking. Senpai took off her shoes. Aoi Ichiki's face was full of regret. If I had known, I would have picked it up myself. After this small interlude, they continued to work on the questions. This question is very simple. Think about it again. My Asahi looked at the question and continued to play with her phone. Okay. Aoi Ichiki weakly moved her textbook back. The study session lasted until 9 o'clock. Everyone parted ways in front of the shop. Thank you for your hard work today. Do your best for tomorrow's exam. Aoi Ichiki waved goodbye to everyone. I'll send you back, Toru Watanabe said to Rin Kiyono. Okay. Rin Kiyono nodded lightly. Just as the system said, Tokyo was decorated like a dream during Christmas. The street lights on the trees were lit up, and the streets were filled with a romantic atmosphere. At the entrance of many shops, the employees were already dressed in Christmas clothes. The two of them walked along the brightly lit street and looked at the windows with Christmas decorations. Haven't you thought about what you want to do in the future? Rin Kiyono asked. Toru Watanabe stopped looking at the reindeer antlers on the window and looked at the winter street in front of him. There's no need to rush. Some people go to university after they have thought about what they want to do, but most people only know what they want to do after they go to university. Most people who think like that don't want to do anything in the end. Toru Watanabe turned his head. Rin Kiyono's beautiful face was even more adorable with the white scarf. Amidst the sound of the wheels on the road, he smiled and said, "Those who don't want to do anything, after 4 years, will understand the fact that they don't want to do anything." Sophistry. Rin Kiyono rolled her eyes at him. A song came from the shop next to them. The rain will turn to snow after midnight. Silent night, holy night. You definitely won't come, Christmas alone. What song is this? Toru Watanabe stopped and asked Rin Kiyono. Silent Night, by Yamashita Tatsuro. Rin Kiyono replied. The rain will turn to snow after midnight. Toru Watanabe hummed the song and danced to the rhythm. He learned the dance from the United States. Looking at his comical movements, Rin Kiyono was helpless and amused. She couldn't do anything about him. When she laughed, Toru Watanabe became even more proud. Miss Kiyono, do you want to watch the moment when the rain turns to snow with me on Christmas Eve? Okay. Rin Kiyono nodded. Toru Watanabe stopped what he was doing. What did you just say? He asked. Anyway, the party is private. Although I can't leave alone, if you and Kujo classmate join, my family will allow us to come out. What's going on? He was just in a good mood and casually asked the lyrics. Was he going to kiss Miki Kujo in front of Rin Kiyono? Rin Kiyono noticed his expression. What's wrong with you? Kiyori-san, Toru Watanabe put his backpack back on his back, which fell down because of the dance. Do you know White Album? What's that? It's a long story. Let's walk and talk. In the shop, Toru Watanabe's voice could be vaguely heard as he walked away. One night, I turned on the TV and saw Tokyo MX broadcasting. Chapter 195. In Japan, after the final exam, the students will continue to attend classes for a period of time. Without exams, the students who are waiting for their grades and holidays treat school as a class reunion. These days, Toru Watanabe, Osamu Kanai, and Keisuke Saito play paper backgammon in the classroom. Backgammon was a gift from Kazumi Ikeda when she bought a magazine. Girls don't play it, so she gave it to them. 4 points, 4 points. Osamu Kunai prayed while shaking the dice in his hand. While waiting, Toru Watanabe's phone vibrated. Kamigawa has no restrictions on mobile phones except for classes, but when your grades drop, the second thing is to tell you. How about trying to stay away from mobile phones for a period of time? By the way, the first thing is, cram school is not bad, classmate, do you want to consider it? The above is what Toru Watanabe heard, and he can't guarantee the authenticity of the information. This time, the math paper is very smooth. I'm looking forward to the exam results for the first time. Kumiko, what? Let me tell you why I'm so good. I've already taken out my pen, please. Before you succeed in something, you have to be calm but full of excitement. I feel like you're asking for a beating. You feel the same? To be honest, I've been holding back for a long time. Ha! Tetsumasa Watanabe is about to explain, but a voice calls him from the back door. Watanabe classmate, come out. The voice is cold and pleasant. No. Toru Watanabe deletes the chat history on his phone. Doubt flashed across Ching Yi Rin's face, which was well liked by everyone. I have something to talk to you about. Let's talk after school. Ching Yi Rin was getting impatient. His gaze was as sharp as an arrow as it shot towards him. Come out. Yes, Minister. Toru Watanabe gets up and walks over. Behind him, Keisuke Saito and Osamu Kunai looked at him sympathetically. When he was 3 steps away from Rin Kiyono, Toru Watanabe stopped. What's the matter? If it's a confession, please allow me to refuse. Looking at him, Rin Sano stared at him with a scrutinizing gaze. What have you done to me? She asked. What do you mean by sorry? Speaking ill of me? Don't you have something to do? Rin Kiyono glared at him with dissatisfaction and coldly said, Go back and tell Kujo classmate that she can wear casual clothes for tomorrow's party. After the exam, Miki Kujo completely disappeared from the campus. These days, Toru Watanabe went to Chio Field. At night, he lay in bed and she was busy. He even suspected that Miki Kujo was already dealing with next year's matters. Why do you have to personally tell me what to wear? Toru Watanabe was puzzled. You're not the only one who wants to improve our relationship. Rin Kiyono's mouth showed a trace of ridicule, and then said in a relaxed tone, But now that I have you, I don't have to talk to her anymore. Toru Watanabe nodded, indicating that he understood. He suddenly thought of a possibility and casually asked, So, if one of you and Miki Kujo is a boy, then wouldn't you two get married? Rin Kiyono showed a nauseous expression for the first time. Even so, she was still very cute. It was so cute that it was like an arrogant penguin, taking arrogant steps, walking to your feet and pecking at your feet. Then, this penguin raised its head and looked at you with a, Are you scared? Look. The Rin Kiyono in front of him was just that cute. Even if it's a boy and a girl, we can't get married. Why? If you have time to talk bad about me, why don't you use your brain more? Rin Kiyono's voice suddenly turned cold. Don't think about a girl's legs all day long. After the penguin Kiyono said this, she flipped her long hair over her shoulder and arrogantly turned around and walked away. I don't think about it all the time, I only think about it for 2 hours every day. Toru Watanabe explained to her back that hadn't gone far yet. This was the only thing that needed to be explained properly. He didn't know if it was an illusion or not, but Rin Kiyono suddenly seemed to have trouble walking, and then she quickened her pace. In this joyous atmosphere, inadvertently, it was December 24th. Christmas Eve, the last day before the winter vacation, was called Holy Night by the girls. Aona Koizumi stood on the podium with a report card in her hand. In private, she was very amiable and treated the students like an older sister. However, when she stood in the podium, her beautiful oval face would deliberately put on a serious expression, and her voice would also carry the dignity of a teacher. Like now. Another year is about to pass. Students, the future is not unreachable. The 3 years of high school will pass in the blink of an eye. Only the 3rd semester of next year is left in the 1st year of high school. You must consider the division of arts and science as soon as possible. She looked around. The classroom was silent. Some people straightened their backs and looked at her. Some people lowered their heads, and no one knew what they were thinking. Some people had already packed their things and were just waiting to get their report cards. They stuffed them into their backpacks and quickly went to play. For this final exam, students who want to go to arts should take a good look at your results. Those who want to go to science should also take a look at your results. Then think carefully about what to do during the winter vacation. Sometimes, interest is the best teacher, but following your talent is also a choice. You are not young anymore. You should understand that a choice can affect your life. Also, no matter if you want to go to arts or science, the deviation score for this exam is below 65 in the country. Koizumi Aonai's gaze swept through some people. After a short silence, she continued, "You have fallen out of the top 5% in the country. Results can't decide your life, but they can't be an obstacle in your life. Now, I will be handing out the report cards. Students whose names are called, please come up and collect them. Nakayama Rina. Yes. Tamura Fusey. Yes. Ikeda Kazumi. Yes. Toru Watanabe. Yes. Toru Watanabe's first year in Kamigawa ended just like that. Kyoto. Hokeiji. After school. After cleaning. In the cheerful atmosphere of the winter vacation, some people sat in the classroom, sighing at their report cards. Some girls even cried. Although she felt sorry for her classmate, Kumiko was so happy that she wanted to sing. "Kumiko, did you do well in the exam?" Lena tilted her head and asked on the way to the music department. Did I tell Lena? You're humming. Kumiko covered her mouth and widened her eyes. I already sang? Lena looked at her and laughed. How did you do? Not as good as you, Lena. Kumiko couldn't help but smile. Isn't that a given? Lena rolled her eyes. When I was studying, Kumiko, think about what you were doing. I was studying too. Really? Oh, I just didn't study as long as you, Lena. In order to change the topic, Kumiko took out her report card from her bag. Lena took it directly. There was not a single crease on the report card. Mandarin. Math. You improved a lot in math, Lena said in surprise. The deviation score is only 64. You were only 49 in the last mock exam, right? 49. 2. 0. 2 is enough to leave a few dozen people behind. I don't know what you're so persistent about. Lena sighed. Math, and your base. Is it all because of your 2 advanced magic potion crafting books? Because Kumiko had been reading these 2 books all day, her bass playing skills improved by leaps and bounds. In math, she even started to teach others questions. Plus, she didn't want to show it to others, so some students who liked Harry Potter called these 2 books Advanced Magic Potion Crafting by the Half-Blood Prince. This title has unknowingly spread. Just now, when she received her report card, the class teacher who was in a good mood used this topic to make fun of Kumiko. Not all of it. Sometimes I would ask the Half-Blood Prince himself. The Half-Blood Prince, Toru Watanabe, he didn't know anything. Kumiko could imagine, if she told him this title, with Toru Watanabe's personality, he would definitely say, Half-Blood Prince? Who are you looking down on? At least Voldemort, right? Kumiko wanted to laugh when she thought of his arrogant look. But you're English. Lena looked at the deviation value of 56. I've already decided, I won't go to a university where English is required. Didn't you want to be an English teacher? I found out that I like math more. I'd be a fool to believe you. During the midterm exam, I still remember you saying that you won't go to a university where mathematics is required. Kumiko was a little embarrassed when Lena exposed her. She scratched her cheek and said, Then I can only ask the Half-Blood Prince again. The next time I see him, I'll ask him for another English notebook. All right, Lena, how's your English? Lena was preparing to go to a music university abroad. Here. Lena took out her report card. All subjects have a deviation value of 72? That's amazing. English single subject deviation value. 79. 4. Kumiko was so shocked that she stopped in her tracks. Lena also stopped and said seriously, English is the foundation for me to pursue music abroad, of course I have to treat it seriously. 79. 4. When can I reach 70? Alright, what's 79? 4 in the country. I don't know. Can I check? Kumiko took out her phone. Lena nodded. If it's Kumiko, it's fine. Kumiko's mood became even better after hearing Lena's words. She could check the individual results of the national exam online, including the score, deviation value, ranking, and national average. 2,396th place. That's amazing. If she keeps this up, She should be able to go to a university in Tokyo for another year, and then go abroad. Absolutely no problem. Kumiko was even more confident than Lena herself. Lena stared at Kumiko, then suddenly reached out her hand and pushed a strand of hair behind Kumiko's ear. At this moment, Kumiko really wanted to reach out and press Lena's hand on her face. In order to resist this strange impulse, she opened her mouth and said, "Do you want to ask that guy about his results?" Half-Blood Prince. Kumiko wanted to laugh when she heard this stupid title. Yes, Half-Blood Prince. Then let's go and ask him. Lena said. Okay. Send me your results. The reply was very quick. Forget it. But after a few steps, Kumiko stopped again. What's wrong? Lena looked at her suspiciously. That guy seems to have screwed up. Really? Lena laughed and tucked her hair behind her ear. Kumiko didn't notice her friend's expression and started to move again while typing on her phone. Send me. When Toru Watanabe sent her his results, she was ready to complain. For example, what kind of regression is this? You're even better than the first place in our school. You should have no problem getting into Tokyo University. Really, forget it. How about an exchange? I'll send you my terrible results, and you can also send them to me. Without waiting for the other party to refuse, Kumiko sent her results. How can it be worse than my English? She thought to herself. 10 seconds later, the other party sent a picture. Following the picture was an emoji of a white-faced geisha. The geisha was covering her face with her hands, and the caption was, "Ah, so embarrassing." This guy. Kumiko cursed angrily. What's wrong? Lena asked. Look. Kumiko gave her the phone. Lena opened the picture, and the column was particularly eye-catching. It was all in the 1449951 format. He even used my emoji pack. Kumiko said unwillingly. This guy has been annoying for a long time. Lena returned the phone to Kumiko. Kumiko took the phone and looked at the, "Ah, so embarrassing," emoji. She hesitantly opened her mouth. Lena. Yes. Do you think someone like Watanabe is a special existence? No. No. Kumiko looked at Lena doubtfully. Yes. Lena switched the box in her hand from one hand to the other. A special person is someone who has the determination to become the best, the most outstanding person, the most valuable person in the group, and the most indispensable. Then he's not a special existence? He's number one in the country, and his oboe is also frighteningly good. Kumiko, let me finish. Lena said angrily. Sorry, Lena. Please continue. What's important isn't your current level, but the determination to become the best, and always working hard for it. This kind of person is a special person. After saying that, Lena added, Don't worry. Someone like him, who can easily get number one in everything, it's impossible for him to have that kind of determination. Then what if it's because he wants to be the best, and worked hard until now, and succeeded? Lena unhappily bumped Kumiko with her shoulder. Are you helping him, or me? Kumiko pretended to rub her shoulder in pain. Of course I'm helping Lena. Lena snorted. If he's a special person, then that's for the best. I want to beat him in the national competition next year, and become an even more special person. That's impossible. Kumiko immediately covered her mouth and stared at Lena with wide eyes. This time, Lena didn't hit her. Instead, she helplessly rolled her eyes. Kumiko, after today's practice, do you want to come to my house for Christmas? Kumiko smiled. Lena was embarrassed by her stare. She turned her face away and asked angrily, Are you going or not? Of course I'm going. Kumiko hurriedly agreed. I'm smiling because, actually, I also want to invite Lena to my house. We both want to go together. What are you eating tonight? Fried chicken, cake, that's normal. Which restaurant does the fried chicken belong to? This. I think it's from Morse Burger. Then let's go to your house. My family ordered KFC, I'm already sick of it. Do you want to stay over after dinner? I'll let you sleep on my bed. I'll sleep on the floor. Kumiko began to look forward to dinner tonight. This winter vacation, there were too many happy things. Suddenly, she received so much happiness. Was it really good? Would it be exchanged for the next 2 years of high school life? No, I can't be too happy. Next year, I still have to enter the national competition, get the national gold, and show off in front of that guy. Hold it in for now, Kumiko. Okay. Lena opened the soundproof door of the music classroom. Only a few people chose to continue practicing today. But don't be shy, we'll sleep on the same bed. Sleep on the same bed? What's wrong? Lena looked at the suddenly excited Kumiko strangely. Kumiko hurriedly waved her hands. I'm definitely not thinking of anything strange. That's suspicious. But, Lena smiled. It doesn't matter, I don't hate it. Lena, you're indeed a little shy. Chapter 196. After exiting the chat with Kumiko, Toru Watanabe sent his report card to his mother. He put away his phone and said goodbye to his classmates. They could only meet again when the 3rd semester starts next year. As soon as he walked out of the classroom, the blackboard eraser couple from the 3rd class was chasing each other again. The girl couldn't outrun them, so she stood still and shouted, "If you run again, I'll take your bag and you won't be able to go home today." "Where else can I go? You want to go to the hotel with me? But you're too ugly." The boy shouted back. The girl turned around and went back to the 3rd class. "You really want to take it? Wait a minute." The boy rushed into Class 3's classroom. In the end, his face was smeared with chalk dust by the girl hiding by the door. The chase continued, but it became a boy chasing a girl. "Please, let's go to the hotel." Toru Watanabe, who suffered an unexpected calamity and ate a face full of chalk dust, waved his hand to wipe away the dust while pleading in his heart. After passing through the smoky area, he raised his head and saw the beautiful girl holding her bag smiling at him. "These two are so annoying." He walked forward and complained to the beautiful girl. "Here." Rin Kiyono pointed at him and said. Toru Watanabe flicked his hair by his right ear, and the chalk dust could be seen scattering everywhere. "Anything else?" He turned his head left and right. Rin Kiyono tilted her head and looked at him for a while. "No, let's go." The two of them walked toward the club building. "I'll deal with them sooner or later." "How?" "How about deliberately tripping them?" "I don't recommend that." The two of them went up to the 5th floor. The corridor was covered in the afternoon sun. The winter sky was clear and blue. Half of a plane cloud was drawn. If you looked carefully, you would see a plane leisurely heading to its destination. After opening the door of the activity room, you could see Miki Kujo curled up on the sofa. She was sleeping soundly. Her fair and delicate face had lost its usual nobility and pride and became cute. Her bulging chest rose and fell slightly with her breathing. Her waist was slender, and further down were her beautiful legs wrapped in black stockings. They were well-proportioned and slender. "Miki." Toru Watanabe gently shook her shoulder. Miki Kujo slowly opened her eyes. She stared blankly for a moment as if she was still unconscious. Then, she lazily stretched out her hand. Toru Watanabe held her hand and pulled her up. Kujio Miyoshi took the opportunity to lean into his embrace and skillfully wrapped her arms around his neck. She said in a sleepy voice, "Help me put on my shoes." "How can I help you put it on like this?" "Sit down and I'll put it on for you." Miki Kujo simply lay back down. She lifted her right leg and passed it to Toru Watanabe. Her knee-length pleated skirt slipped down, revealing a bit of the scenery underneath. Through the high-quality black stockings, he could vaguely see the traces of her underwear. Rin Kiyono, who was waiting by the side, turned his cold face away in disgust. While helping Miki Kujo put on her shoes, Toru Watanabe asked, "Do you want to go back and change into your normal clothes or go directly to Kiyono's house?" "Let's go buy something first," Miki Kujo said with her eyes closed. Buy something? Yeah. Miki Kujo was about to fall asleep again. After putting on her shoes and pulling her up, Miki Kujo finally woke up. What do you want to buy? Toru Watanabe asked. Rin Kiyono sighed. When Tetsumesa Watanabe was curious why she sighed, Miki Kujo explained impatiently, Christmas present. Christmas present. My mother, and Seino Rin's mother, do all sorts of weird things all day long. Toru Watanabe understood and said with a smile, they want you to exchange presents to ease your relationship. Compared to easing our relationship, they want to play by themselves more. The three of them walked out of the activity classroom and Rin Kiyono locked the door. The school building was full of people. The people who hated the school and couldn't wait to bulldoze it were now leaving the school leisurely. The people who rode bicycles to school were also pushing their bicycles and chatting with their classmates who were walking. The three of them got into Miki Kujo's car and went to the Rabiya shopping mall. The mall was spacious and there were rows upon rows of shops, one after the other, one floor after another. The crowd was surging and everyone was carrying big and small bags. There were also Christmas songs that could be heard anywhere in the mall. In the mall's atrium, there was a huge Christmas tree with many gift boxes and lights on it. It wasn't night yet, but the lights were all lit up. On the stage in front of the Christmas tree, the mall was holding a Princess Carrie Girlfriend contest. The one who lasted the longest could win a $5,000 voucher. What are you going to buy? Deliberately give the other party something they don't like? Toru Watanabe asked with some curiosity. If that was the case, it would be a very interesting scene. I would like to do that, but unfortunately, Rin Kiyono looked at the dense crowd and slightly frowned. My mother and the others also like to play the game of exchanging presents. They also exchange presents? Toru Watanabe was surprised. Can I ask? Who will be attending the party this time? The three of us and our mothers. Miki Kujo said and turned into a boutique that sold bags. The two of them followed her inside. Each bag was placed on its own shelf. There were even a few bags locked in sturdy transparent cabinets. Under the bright light, these bags were like exhibits. Unfortunately, Toru Watanabe didn't know the brand of the bag. The female shop assistant with exquisite makeup followed them a few steps away. She didn't look down on them just because they were wearing student uniforms. Just the four of you and me? Is it better if I don't go? Toru Watanabe said. Miki Kujo was holding a bag and looking at it. Hearing his words, she looked over. Why, in your heart, do you still see them as the opposite sex? She asked with a smile. That's a strange question. Toru Watanabe said, should I treat them as the opposite sex? I'm asking you. Stop, I want to apply for outside help. Toru Watanabe made a stop gesture. Miki, Kiyono, tell me, how should I answer without making my girlfriend angry? Of course, it would be better if I can make her happy. Let's break up. Rin Kiyono touched the corner of her mouth and suggested with a smile. This can't do. Miki Kujo glared at Toru Watanabe. She put down the bag in her hand, crossed her arms and asked him, let's change the question, which bag is the ugliest here? Which bag is the ugliest? Toru Watanabe looked around. There weren't many bags in the shop. Finally, he pointed at a brown bag locked in the cabinet and said, this one is the ugliest. We'll take it. Miki Kujo said to the shop assistant. The three of them looked outstanding. The two beautiful girls had a noble temperament. The only boy looked frivolous, but his every move was full of confidence. Even though they were wearing student uniforms, the shop assistant would immediately wrap up a normal bag for them. Sir, this bag is a limited edition. It's so ugly, limited edition? Toru Watanabe said in disbelief. Not only did the shop assistant maintain her smile, but she became even friendlier. It was as if Toru Watanabe said a joke and she laughed along. She pressed one hand on her lower abdomen and introduced the bag in the cabinet with the other. This bag is the classic design of this product when it was first created. It has been 172 years since then. The aesthetic is different from now, but it can be passed down for generations. Okay. Miki Kujo said impatiently, wrap it up. Sir, the price of this bag. Miki Kujo looked at Toru Watanabe and said, go pay. I don't have that much money. Toru Watanabe's answer was straightforward. Unfortunately, it was a lie. Troublesome. Miki Kujo said impatiently. She looked around and aimed at Rin Kiyono. Give me your card. Why? Rin Kiyono crossed her arms and looked at her. Do you think I'll carry money with me? I'll pay you back 10 times on the bus. 10 times. The shop assistant began to wonder if the three of them were acting. At this time, Rin Kiyono took out a black card, but she didn't give it to Miki Kujo. Instead, she gave it to the shop assistant. I'll take that bag. Please wrap it up like a Christmas present for me. Yes, ma'am. Rin Kiyono looked at Miki Kujo and smiled sarcastically. I'm looking forward to tonight's gift exchange. Miki Kujo's face was horrified. In Toru Watanabe's eyes, her black and straight hair was blown up by her murderous aura. She was completely demonized. Miki. He put his hands on her shoulders and said seriously, there's no such thing as the ugliest, only uglier. It's still early. Let's keep looking. Miki Kujo's hair fell back, in Toru Watanabe's eyes, and she looked at him. Don't talk to me before I give you permission. She said coldly. How long will that take? Can you give me a specific time? Toru Watanabe asked. About 10 minutes. Toru Watanabe tightened his grip. Miki, I'll work during the new year to buy you a bag. Miki Kujo waved his hand off her shoulder and said to Rin Kiyono, men are all single-celled creatures. She seemed to be complaining, but it felt like she was showing off. Thank you, Kujo-san. I've learned a lot. Rin Kiyono looked at Toru Watanabe after she finished speaking. She had the kindest and most charming smile on her face and angelic wings on her back, in Toru Watanabe's eyes. Watanabe-san, you can say anything to me in these 10 minutes. I'll chat with you. Really? You're not lying to me? Rin Kiyono turned to look at Miki Kujo and said with a smile, men are indeed single-celled creatures. Miki Kujo stepped on Toru Watanabe's shoe. No, I'm just a dash. Shut up. Miki Kujo pulled on Toru Watanabe's tie and said with a murderous tone, did I give you permission to talk to me? I don't think so. She kicked him again. Ladies, don't you think I'm very pitiful for teasing me like this? Stop pretending to be pitiful. You must be very pleased with yourself for flirting with two beautiful ladies, right? Miki Kujo said with a sharp look in her eyes. Absolutely not. Lies. Rin Kiyono immediately exposed him. I'll tell you. Toru Watanabe was very dissatisfied and innocent. Why do the two of you always team up to deal with me? Miki Kujo loosened his tie and pushed him away. When the two of them were too close, she felt that his saliva would splatter on her face. Although he had kissed her face many times, that was another matter. If you cut ties with Rin Kiyono, I'll spoil you. She promised with a smile. That's definitely a lie, right? Toru Watanabe looked at her. Miki Kujo stopped smiling and snorted, but she didn't deny it. If you cut ties with Kujo-san, Rin Kiyono fell into deep thought with her hand on her chin, and finally sighed helplessly. Sorry, I can't help but scold you. I'm already satisfied that you know it's scolding. But you seem to be enjoying it. Rin Kiyono pretended to be confused. I've told you before, I'm a person with a delicate mind. Please pay attention to your words. Seeing the two of them talking back and forth, Miki Kujo narrowed her eyes and smiled. Watanabe. Here. From now on, you're not allowed to say a single word. Dear customer, it's already wrapped. The salesgirl came over with an exquisite shopping bag. After leaving the store, Miki Kujo changed her strategy. Instead of buying a gift for Kiyono-san, why don't you buy one for my Watanabe? She said. Watanabe, what do you want? Toru Watanabe pointed at his mouth. That's enough. Miki Kujo looked at him with disdain. If you're really that obedient, I'll take your surname after we get married. I don't care about my surname, Toru Watanabe said. But the main Kujo family is Miki, you're the only one. How glib. What do you want? Let me think. Why do I feel like I don't lack anything? Toru Watanabe really couldn't think of what he needed. I'll buy you some bath gel in the winter. How about you take a nice bath? Miki Kujo suggested. Why did the style suddenly change? Was it a branded bag just now? Toru Watanabe felt a little strange and unaccustomed. Kujo milady and bath gel were two words that couldn't possibly be mentioned in the same sentence. It doesn't matter if the gift is expensive or not. Practical things are more considerate. That's true. Toru Watanabe nodded. But if we exchange gifts, maybe someone else will get the bath gel. Wait, doesn't that mean I might get that ugly bag? You can give it to your mother. Rin Kiyono thoughtfully offered a solution. My mom definitely won't accept such an expensive gift. That can't be right. That bag is so old-fashioned. Maybe my mom won't recognize it. Miki Kujo suddenly reached out and grabbed Toru Watanabe's tie. Cut the crap. Go buy the bath gel. I can walk by myself. Did I give you permission to speak? Did the order suddenly take effect again? Rin Kiyono arrogantly brushed her long hair away from her shoulders and said with an arrogant smile, "Some people are jealous. Some people are jealous. It seems that my cuteness is indeed above everyone else." When it came to appearance, Miki Kujo couldn't pretend that she didn't hear anything. She let go of Toru Watanabe and crossed her arms in front of her chest, revealing a disdainful expression. Narcissism is a small matter. I'm just afraid that I'm blind and can't see someone more beautiful than myself. Ah, you want to compare appearance with me? Kujo-san, I admire your courage. Kiyono-san, you dare to say such words to me. It seems that you're quite blind. Meaningless argument. Rin Kiyono turned to Toru Watanabe. Watanabe-san, between me and Kujo-san, who's cuter? Do you even need to ask? You're both cute in my heart. Toru Watanabe answered without thinking. Miki Kujo's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Rin Kiyono, on the other hand, couldn't stand it. Was there something wrong? The system verified 9 points. Chapter 197. Don't even think about it. Staying neutral is the stupidest thing to do, Watanabe. Toru Watanabe's reply was, as expected, attacked by both of them at the same time. But now, he was starting to get used to it. Let's go buy some bath gel. He changed the topic. There was a pleasant fragrance in the shop that sold bath gel. Miki Kujo took a fancy to the European carbonated bath gel. She used one gel every time she bathed, and it cost $400 per gel. It's my turn now. Toru Watanabe was deep in thought. 2 rich ladies in their late 40s and 2 beautiful 16-year-old girls. What gift should he give them? This mall was huge. It had everything from daily necessities to branded goods. But they probably wouldn't be happy to receive anything that could be bought with money. He thought for a while. He had no idea at all. Have you thought about it? After walking around, Miki Kujo was tired. Let's buy a belt. Toru Watanabe gave up. He didn't care if the people who received the gift would be happy or not. Whether it was Miki Kujo or Rin Kiyono, sometimes they liked to wear a belt when they wore skirts. They looked fashionable and elegant. Their slender waists were tied by belts. They were so graceful that people wanted to pull them into their arms and press them on the bed. He had already done that to Miki Kujo. In the Hermes store, Toru Watanabe picked a belt with a navy blue surface and an amber yellow inside. After choosing the color, the salesperson asked for the size. Toru Watanabe rested his chin on his hand, looked at the ceiling, and whispered. Miki is 62. Kiyono is about the same. Kujo's mother is 68? No, I think she dropped to 65 recently. Kiyono's mother, I don't know if she's gained weight or lost weight recently. Just as he was trying to recall Kiyono's mother, someone kicked his calf. What are you doing? He turned around, and the two young ladies stared at him with unsightly expressions. How do you know their waistlines? Miki Kujo looked at him coldly. I'm good at math. As long as I have one example of data, I can calculate the rest. Miki Kujo looked at Rin Kiyono, and Rin Kiyono nodded. Miki Kujo said to Toru Watanabe with a murderous look, I really want to dig your eyes out. Please don't. I haven't seen enough of you yet. Then when will you have enough? Miki Kujo asked with a sneer. If you ask, then it's definitely for a lifetime. Toru Watanabe wrapped his arms around Miki Kujo's slender waist. This waist, this figure, it's beautiful beyond words. Guest. The clerk who was registering the information hesitantly greeted them. Miki Kujo waved Toru Watanabe's hand away. Hurry up, don't dawdle. Yes, sir. Help me choose according to the size 62. If the two aunties accidentally get it, they might be able to use it. If they don't use it, they can take the opportunity to lose weight. The clerk asked about the material and the thickness of the clothes, but Toru Watanabe didn't understand at all, so he explained according to Miki Kujo's situation. A belt with the width of an index finger, without any decorations, cost Toru Watanabe more than 400,000 yen. This price was just so. The rich madams and young ladies probably wouldn't just throw it aside and not use it after getting their hands on it. When they went downstairs, the princess carrying contest was at its most intense moment. In the remaining two groups, one boy was roaring at the sky, while the other girl was desperately stretching her neck. The girlfriends who were being carried were either wiping their sweat or cheering them on. Looking at this scene, Rin Kiyono felt a little incredulous. Is the attraction of 5,000 yen that big? When we went up, maybe it was for 5,000 yen, but after the competition started, it had nothing to do with 5,000 yen. Toru Watanabe said. Rin Kiyono touched her chin and thought for a while. She understood Toru Watanabe's meaning and said uninterestedly, a man's boring self-esteem. Stamina and time were eternal battlefields for men. If it was someone else, Toru Watanabe would have said so. Back in the car, the luxury car went straight to Nagata, where Kiyono's house was located. It was a place where the Japanese government officials gathered. After knowing that they were going directly to Kiyono's house, Toru Watanabe asked puzzledly, Are we wearing the school uniform? Miki Kujo, who was holding the door handle, opened her eyes and pointed at her temple. She looked at him and said, I forgot about you. What do you mean? Kiyono's house has clothes for me to wear. You two have such a good relationship? Oh. The two young ladies sneered at the same time. Looks like it's really not good. Then what should I do? Toru Watanabe asked. It's too troublesome to go back. Let's find a place to buy it. Miki Kujo lazily closed her eyes again. Then, she found a boutique men's clothing store on the road and picked out a set of clothes for Toru Watanabe. So far, Miki Kujo has bought a lot of clothes for Toru Watanabe. Needless to say, in Toru Watanabe's rental house, Miki Kujo's favorite store would regularly deliver the latest men's clothing. Toru Watanabe would wear one every time he left. In addition, there were also expensive custom-made suits. When the car arrived at Nagadachi, 50 meters away from Kiyono's house, Toru Watanabe saw a sign saying, Private Residence, No Entry. The car stopped at the gate and the servant helped to open the door. Miss Kiyono, Miss Kujo, young Master Watanabe. The guard bowed and shouted. After dating Miki Kujo for more than half a year, Toru Watanabe was already used to this situation. After entering the wall, Rin Kiyono asked the maid next to her, Where is my mother? Madam hasn't come back yet. Well, thank you. Toru Watanabe looked at the yard. Unlike Kujo's traditional Japanese architecture, Kiyono's house was more Western. After entering the castle-like house, the two beautiful girls went to change clothes. Toru Watanabe found the servant. Is there a pool here? If not, the gym is also fine. Young Master Watanabe, there is a pool and a pool for the gym. Which one do you want? For the gym. Please come with me. Toru Watanabe followed the servant and took the elevator to the basement. After taking a few steps, a pool the size of a football field came into view. It was obviously in the basement, but there was natural light. 8 square stone pillars on both sides of the pool lit up with a soft white light. Deck chairs, a spa room, a drink bar, a TV, etc., everything was available. She unbuttoned her pleated skirt and let it slide down naturally. After taking off her underwear and stockings, Rin Kiyono took a simple shower. She changed into a large blue sweater and a beige skirt. She tied her long hair into a ponytail and let it fall naturally on her back. She walked out of the room and slowly went downstairs. There was no one in the living room. She frowned slightly, looking beautiful and lovable. "Where is Watanabe?" she asked the servant in the living room. Young Master Watanabe went to the swimming pool in the basement. Rin Kiyono was slightly dazed. She remembered something Toru Watanabe often said, "I swim 20 laps in the 50-meter pool every day. I am becoming amazing at a speed that Kiyono classmate can't imagine." Although she knew that this sentence was true, she didn't expect that today, when he came to her house to attend the Christmas party, he still insisted on swimming. She thought that he had sneaked into Miki Kujo's room. She smiled slightly, said thank you to the servant, and walked to the underground swimming pool. The eldest miss, who had always been cold, suddenly revealed a smile. The servants were so shocked that they forgot to salute. When Rin Kiyono disappeared, they hurriedly bowed in her direction. In addition to the swimming pool, there were various fitness equipment in the basement, but generally no one used it. Most of the rooms were equipped with a small gym. Although the equipment was not complete, it was enough for daily use. Of course, this had nothing to do with Miss Kiyono. She lost if she touched the fitness equipment. Walking past the fitness equipment room and the elevator, she heard the sound of water splashing. Rin Kiyono went around the wall, and her field of vision suddenly widened. In front of her was a blue swimming pool, and a figure was swimming in it with all his might. His arms were paddling, and his thighs were above the water. He seemed to be moving on the surface of the water. From his appearance, he looked like a butterfly with its wings spread. Rin Kiyono didn't work out, but she was knowledgeable enough to know that this was a type of swimming called the butterfly stroke. His swimming speed was quite fast, faster than the swimming girl she had seen before who had won the gold medal in the swimming competition. In the short time she had observed clearly, Toru Watanabe, who was still far away, had already swum back. "Kiyono classmate, I saw a mermaid." "Lies." "I looked confidently, and that mermaid is Kiyono classmate." "Lies again. What I mean is, you look so good in this outfit." "You're telling the truth." After a simple conversation, he gestured for her to wait, kicked off the wall of the swimming pool, and swam out again. Toru Watanabe's body was tall and slender. Rin Kiyono glanced at him, then turned around and left. She went back upstairs to the family library, picked up a book that she wanted to read a second time, and returned to the living room. She sat on the armchair in front of the fireplace and read while sipping black tea. After a while, she heard footsteps. She looked up. Miki Kujo had changed into her home clothes and was coming down from upstairs. Where did Watanabe go? She looked around. In Rin Kiyono's eyes, she looked like a housewife who had lost a treasure or had no one to rely on. Rin Kiyono looked down on her. Plus, their relationship was so bad that they didn't even want to maintain basic etiquette. Naturally, she wouldn't answer her question. The maid who answered her question earlier told Miki Kujo that Toru Watanabe was swimming. Only then did Miki Kujo focus on her. "I'm going to have to spend another annoying Christmas with you." Miki Kujo sat down on the sofa across from her. "If you don't like it, you can go back," she said casually. "If they could go back, they wouldn't have come here. Unlike you, I have a good relationship with my mother. I'm a filial child." She was about to retaliate against Miki Kujo's mockery when the living room was filled with the loudest voices since it was built. Everyone, I feel like I've become stronger again. I can beat up 1,023 of the me from yesterday. His voice was clear and loud, filled with the confidence of a young man. Everyone, I feel like I've become stronger again. I can beat up 1,023 of the me from yesterday. What's with the noise? You don't have to say stupid things so loudly, Watanabe-san. Rin Kiyono and Miki Kujo reprimanded Toru Watanabe as soon as he entered the living room. I'm sorry. Toru Watanabe apologized as quickly as he could. He walked over to the sofa and sat down comfortably. After the exercise, he felt a faint sense of comfort. After resting for a while, he asked, "What do we do next?" Wait. Rin Kiyono, who was buried in her book, answered briefly without looking up. Wait for the rain to turn into snowflakes. It'll be my Christmas alone. Toru Watanabe drummed his fingers on the sofa's armrest. Rin Kiyono looked up with admiration. I misunderstood you, Watanabe-san. You're even more outstanding than I thought. Is singing bad a flaw? Please apologize to all the tone-deaf people in the world. You're not allowed to sing in the future. Miki Kujo said impatiently. Miki, even you are discriminating against me. What are you talking about? Come here. Toru Watanabe got up and walked over. Miki Kujo sat him down on the sofa and rested her head on his knees. Help me pick my ears. She handed him the ear-picking spoon in her hand and closed her eyes in comfort. Rin Kiyono's expression turned cold as she looked at their posture. Please don't do such a disgusting thing in my living room. If you don't like it, you can kick me out. Miki Kujo didn't care at all. Rin Kiyono glanced coldly at the innocent Toru Watanabe and continued reading without saying a word. Miki Kujo sneered disdainfully. Don't move. Toru Watanabe pressed down on the side of her beautiful face. The ear-picking spoon had already gone in. After a while, Miki Kujo changed her direction and faced Toru Watanabe's abdomen. You're quite energetic. It's not just energetic. I can't stop at all. Rin Kiyono raised her head and looked at the two of them in confusion. She didn't know what they were talking about. About 20 minutes later, the two young ladies' mothers returned. They were obviously rich madams, but they were dressed no differently from ordinary young women. They were even carrying bags of various sizes like ordinary people. If you met them in the business world, other than being surprised by their temperament and beauty, you wouldn't think that they were rich madams from large families. The maids came forward to help, but they didn't allow it. Miki, come and see what I bought. Kujo's mother said happily. It was Toru Watanabe's first time seeing Kujo's mother so natural without wearing a kimono. She always sat at the head of the table in her gorgeous kimono. Her skin was snow-white, and her bright eyes were calm and composed. Her intelligent eyes seemed to see through everyone's thoughts. Only when she was chatting with her daughter would her eyes shine brightly. In comparison, Kiyono's mother's appearance wasn't bad at all, but her temperament was gentler. She was like an ordinary young lady who had lived a leisurely life for more than 10 years and became an ordinary rich madam. Toru Watanabe didn't have any thoughts that he couldn't be seen through or that he had to be cautious when facing her. What did you buy? Miki Kujo sat up. Snow spray, gold and silver sequins, firecrackers, mini Christmas trees, reindeer plushies, white cotton, lights. Miki Kujo looked at her mother, who was showing off her treasures, without knowing what she meant. Rin, Mom bought something back too. Look. Rin Kiyono sighed, closed her book, and looked over. A tapestry of Mount Fuji, a snowman plushie, and a CD collection of Christmas songs. Yeah. And oversized socks. Looking at the socks that could fit an elementary school student, Rin Kiyono rubbed her forehead. It's not over yet. The two madams looked at each other and took out a stack of red things in surprise. Thump thump. Christmas clothes. Everyone has one. Kiyono's mother clapped as if she was a paid assistant. However, her expression still retained the grace of a rich madam and didn't have enough enthusiasm. The real audience, Toru Watanabe, clapped sincerely. When Miki Kujo and Rin Kiyono looked over, Toru Watanabe put down his hands as if nothing had happened. Kun Watanabe. Kujo's mother took out another set of clothes from the bag and said with a bright smile, "There's one for you too, a reindeer suit." Chapter 198. Kun Watanabe, you don't like it? Seeing that Toru Watanabe was silent, Kujo's mother asked with concern. How should I put it? Toru Watanabe looked at the reindeer suit in her hand again. The antler decoration was a bit like a girl's hairband. I can't say that I don't like it, but compared to the Christmas suit, I prefer the Christmas suit. Then I'll buy you a Christmas suit next year. Kujo's mother, who looked concerned just now, put on a relaxed expression as if the matter had been properly solved. What does this feel like? The staff said that they worked overtime until 9 o'clock today and that it was very tiring. The boss said that they could get off work at 8 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, and that they should rest early and not tire themselves out. When Toru Watanabe was hesitating whether to say that he didn't like it, Kiyono's mother ordered the servant next to her. Let them bring the Christmas tree in. Yes, madam. The servant walked out of the door. After a while, the door opened again, and a Christmas tree as high as the ceiling was carried in. According to the encyclopedia that Toru Watanabe read in the library, this was a European fir tree used to deal with Rin Kiyono. The tree was beautiful, the color and smell were very good, and the leaves didn't fall off easily, so it was the most used tree in the world every year. This tree was 10 meters tall, although it didn't reach the limit of tree species, but for humans, it was huge. Please be careful, Kiyono's mother reminded him. After warming by the fireplace for a long time, Toru Watanabe poured himself a glass of water, drank it, and watched the workers fiddle with the tree. Miki Kujo lazily leaned on the sofa, looking at the Christmas tree as if to pass the time. Rin Kiyono, who was sitting opposite them, was not interested, and had already lowered his head to read. After a while, the Christmas tree was still not ready. The construction was quite noisy, and the 10-meter-tall tree was constantly being adjusted. Even Rin Kiyono looked over several times. What's going on? Kujo's mother asked. Her tone was gentle, but the workers immediately panicked. A man who looked like the leader bowed and said, I'm really sorry. We didn't take the chandelier into consideration. The installation will take some time. Toru Watanabe looked up. The chandelier in the living room was luxurious, like a miniature castle. It's okay, I bought too big. I should have bought a smaller Christmas tree. Kiyono's mother said apologetically. No. This is a mistake in our work. I'm really sorry. The man bowed 90 degrees and said in a terrified tone. It's done, Miki Kujo said unhappily. Hurry up and get it done. Yes. Kiyono's mother put her hands together as if she had discovered something incredible. She smiled gently at Kujo's mother and said, Miki is becoming more and more imposing. She's no longer the child who pestered me and wanted to sleep with me. She's still far from it. Kujo's mother chuckled like a young girl. Toru Watanabe looked at Miki Kujo. Miki Kujo's expression was ugly. I'll help. Toru Watanabe quickly stood up, rolled up his sleeves, and walked towards the Christmas tree. Customer, this kind of thing, let us. Toru Watanabe grabbed the roots of the Christmas tree, which had no branches, and used a very difficult method to hold the Christmas tree upright. The workers who were careful and using all kinds of tools just now looked at this scene with their mouths agape. A human lifting a tree? Where? Toru Watanabe's leader asked halfway. The leader came back to his senses and quickly guided Toru Watanabe to set the tree upright. With his help, the speed immediately increased. Daughter, Kujo's mother turned around and worriedly asked Miki Kujo, who was on the sofa, is your waist okay? Ah, it's already that kind of relationship? Kiyono's mother was surprised. Her voice was very similar to Rin Kiyono's voice after being gentle. Miki Kujo was too lazy to answer and rolled her eyes at them. During the installation of the Christmas tree, a very young worker secretly said to Toru Watanabe, Why are you so strong? I'm a superpower user. Huh. Do you think the world is simple? Toru Watanabe looked around and lowered his voice. Do you see, there are two beautiful girls over there. The one reading a book is nicknamed God. She can read minds and fulfill the wishes of believers. The one opposite God, who is about to fall asleep, is nicknamed Queen. She can use the power of words to control others. If she wants you to kneel, you will kneel. If she wants you to commit suicide, you will commit suicide. The young man's eyes widened. You're lying. Toru Watanabe lifted the Christmas tree and put it down. He looked relaxed and looked at him with a, "What do you think?" expression. That Christmas tree, during the transportation process, crushed the wheels of the truck. After the Christmas tree was installed, the young man left in a trance with 70% disbelief and 30% doubt about the world. Toru Watanabe washed his hands and returned to the living room. The two ladies were happily chatting about something. Unbelievable, he's so strong. Kiyono's mother covered her mouth with her hand and said, I heard that Kuin Watanabe is the national first in this exam. My Kujo-S descendants will not only have better brains, but their bodies will also be better than ordinary people. Kujo-S mother said with relief. Toru Watanabe sat down next to Miki Kujo and asked her in a low voice, Can this be inherited? How would I know? Miki Kujo said in a bad mood. The two mothers discussed from the inheritance of intelligence, to the inheritance of strength, and finally back to the inheritance of appearance. Kiyono's mother said that their children would definitely be the cutest in the world in the future. Kujo-S mother was worried. There were many examples where the parents were good-looking, but the children were not necessarily good-looking. Kiyono's mother comforted her. Intelligence, strength, and appearance, as long as she inherited one, it would be amazing. Kujo-S mother agreed with her and hoped that Miki could give birth to a few more children and choose the most suitable person to take over the Kujo-S family. Kiyono's mother expressed her envy and began to worry about her daughter's future. Kujo-S mother comforted her in turn. Miki, who disliked men in her family, could find someone she liked. Ling would definitely have no problem. The three people on the sofa. When the servants cleaned up the floor, the two mothers finally stopped talking. Okay, let's get changed quickly and then decorate the Christmas tree together. Kujo-S mother announced. Do we really have to wear it? Toru Watanabe asked the two beautiful girls. Kuin Watanabe. Kujo-S mother leaned over and looked at him kindly. Aren't you going to wear it? Yes. Good child, good child. Kujo-S mother reached out and rubbed Toru Watanabe's hair. Mother. Miki Kujo stood up and stood between the two of them. Miki, don't disturb my conversation with my son. He's not your son yet. He's even jealous of his own mother. His personality is exactly the same as when I was young. Kujo-S mother smiled happily. Kuin Watanabe, thank you for your hard work. It's not hard at all. I really like Miki's possessiveness. Does that mean that you also like your mother-in-law? In this kind of situation, all he needed to do was to smile, from Toru Watanabe at this moment. Okay, didn't you say you wanted to get changed? Miki Kujo couldn't stand her mother. The ladies were in the large walk-in closet on the first floor, while Toru Watanabe went to the small walk-in closet upstairs. The reindeer costume was fine since it was just a normal costume, but the headwear, Toru Watanabe took it and walked back to the living room. The maids had already been sent away. There was no one in the living room except for the sound of the bonfire burning in the fireplace. Toru Watanabe twirled the reindeer antler headband twice in his hand, and the ladies walked in. Red, white, long legs, white shoulders. Under the castle-like chandelier and beside the 10-meter-tall Christmas tree, the scene in front of him was like a dream, and also, a bit awkward. A Christmas costume bought by a rich lady wouldn't be bad even if she only wore it for 1 or 2 hours tonight. The costume was very elastic and beautiful. Kujo-S mother's bulging breasts were outlined by the elastic costume, and the beautiful curves were drawn out. It was white and dazzling, and it was very appetizing. Thinking about how noble, elegant, and demure she usually wore in her kimono, The revealing Christmas costume really made him thirsty. Kiyono's mother was the same. Her legs were slender and well-proportioned, no different from a young girl's. Although her breasts weren't big, they were just right, and there was an inexplicable sense of warmth. Miki Kujo, among the four of them, was the one who didn't care about her outfit the least. After all, the only man present was Toru Watanabe, and there were no secrets between the two of them, at least in terms of their bodies. Her breasts were close to her mother's, her waist was slender, and her legs were white, long, and slender. Toru Watanabe wanted to pull her to his side, hold her in his arms, and chat with her in this position. Just this alone, he felt that he could get through the coldest winter. Rusha-san's situation is not good, Toru Watanabe thought as he looked at Rin Kiyono. Toru Watanabe's gaze only lingered on her chest for a second, and then he couldn't help but move his gaze down. The Christmas costume was slightly loose, and the lower half of her body looked like she was wearing a miniskirt. He didn't know if it was because she wasn't used to this outfit, or because she didn't have safety pants, but Rin Kiyono seemed to be very concerned about the length of her skirt, and she reached out to pull it down from time to time. But it was useless to pull it down, and the action of covering it up had a strange charm. Toru Watanabe's heart itched. Just like Toru Watanabe couldn't control his gaze, Rin Kiyono was also very sensitive to his gaze. She immediately noticed when his gaze was fixed on her legs. Her white cheeks were dyed red, and one of her hands was protecting her skirt, while the other hand was adjusting her Christmas hat out of embarrassment. The way her face was slightly turned away, other than cute, it was just cute. Each of them had their own characteristics, and they were mother and daughter. When his heart began to beat faster, Toru Watanabe quickly shifted his gaze. "You are all so beautiful," he applauded and praised. "Where are the reindeer antlers? Why don't you put it on?" Kujo's mother questioned with slight anger. "Well, can I not wear it?" "Of course not," Kujo's mother said as she walked over and reached out to take the reindeer antler headband. She approached Toru Watanabe and wanted to put it on for him. So close that only a little bit of the foot of the snow mountain was exposed, and it suddenly turned into a white plain. Toru Watanabe quickly stood up and dodged. Before Kujo's mother could speak, he said, I'll put it on, but let Miki help me." Kun Watanabe is surprisingly pure. Kujo's mother revealed the charm of a young woman and teased, "Are our outfits too stimulating for you?" "Auntie, mother," Toru Watanabe couldn't resist and changed the way he addressed them 3 times in a row, reminding them to pay attention to their identities. "Don't say these things to me." "Mother," Miki Kujo grabbed the reindeer antler headband, "aren't we going to prepare the cake?" "I almost forgot." It's all Kun Watanabe's fault for being too cute. Speaking of this, Kujo's voice was soft and regretful. "How nice would it be if we had a son?" "I object." Toru Watanabe raised his hand in all seriousness. The two mothers were amused and laughed happily. Miki Kujo rolled her eyes at Toru Watanabe, took the reindeer antler headband, and said to him, "Lower your head." Toru Watanabe bent down slightly. The familiar scenery in front of him, the familiar fragrance, made him subconsciously reach out and hug Miki Kujo's slender waist. The Christmas suit felt warm and velvety. There was another burst of laughter from the two mothers. Rin Kiyono's eyes were cold. Miki Kujo let Toru Watanabe hug her and put the headband on him. After putting it on, she hooked Toru Watanabe's chin with her finger and looked at his face from left to right. She smiled teasingly and said, "It's quite cute." "It suits you very well, Kun Watanabe," Kiyono's mother praised with a look of admiration. "I picked it," Kujo's mother said. Rin Kiyono looked at Toru Watanabe's head with a bit of concern, and then looked at his hand around Miki Kujo's waist. "Boys don't need to be cute, right?" Toru Watanabe let go of his hand and helplessly touched the antlers on his head. "Please decorate the Christmas tree. Our mother group will prepare the cake and dishes for you," Kiyono's mother said. "Okay." They didn't go to the kitchen. The servants had already put the cake, ingredients, and kitchen utensils on the mobile cooking cart. The two mothers began to beat the eggs and weigh the flour. Halfway through, Kiyono's mother played the CD of Christmas songs she bought. The two mothers were very happy as they cooked and hummed. Occasionally, they would talk about Christmas when they were young. At the Christmas tree, Toru Watanabe climbed up the ladder. The two beautiful girls handed him ornaments and told him how to dress up. Lighting the whole tree with lights? What era is this? Kujo-san, do you know what tradition is? Tradition? Are you talking about the defective products that can't keep up with the times and are destined to be eliminated? Defective products? Relying on your late birth and looking down on the wisdom of your ancestors, this is the third most incurable thing after lying is necessary, and there's nothing wrong with liking legs. Toru Watanabe. After arguing for a long time, the two of them saw how impatient each other was, but they were only ranked third. He was ranked first and second. Watanabe-san. As if reading his mind, Rin Kiyono looked over. Do you want to decorate the Christmas tree with lights? Watanabe, tell her. Miki Kujo crossed her arms and said in a tone that said, You know what to do. Looking down from the ladder, their chests. Toru Watanabe felt dizzy. He could only ask for outside help. Mom, Auntie Kiyono, what do you think? He looked over. No, he quickly retracted his gaze. As expected of the wives, the situation was even worse. But it was because of them that he could avoid the Azura battlefield in front of him. Kun Watanabe, you can call me Mom. Kiyono's mother beat the eggs skillfully. What was happening? A chill spread up the ladder. You want to steal my son-in-law? No way. Kujo's mother put a roasted chicken in the oven. Why would I? I want to take Kun Watanabe as my godson. Oh right. Kiyono's mother thought of something and asked, Kun Watanabe, what's your birthday? I want to see if you're Ling's older brother or younger brother. 6th of June. Ah. Kiyono's mother stopped beating the eggs. You were born on the same day as our Ling. What fate. Yeah, I was shocked when I found out. Rin Kiyono smiled. Watanabe. Miki Kujo pointed to the ground. She meant, come down. Only an idiot would go down. Who would have thought that the Azura battlefield would be everywhere? Kujo's mother, Kiyono's aunt, do you want to decorate the Christmas tree with lights? Toru Watanabe quickly pulled the topic back. How about we decorate it? Kiyono's mother looked at Kujo's mother, asking for her opinion. Kujo's mother took off the oven's gloves. It'll look better with lights. We can turn off the lights later. It'll be more Christmas. Then let's decorate it. Toru Watanabe asked Miki Kujo. Miki Kujo was helpless. Her murderous face relaxed. By the way, Kun Watanabe, didn't I tell you to call me Mom? Kiyono's mother suddenly said. Miki Kujo's beautiful face tensed up again. Kiyono's mother, this is the only request I have for Christmas. Please don't talk about this anymore. Chapter 199. With the two ladies deliberately matching each other, it took them 20 minutes to finish decorating the Christmas tree. Cotton was used as snow, balloons, ribbons, gift boxes were hung, and the branches were decorated with colorful lights. The 10-meter-tall Christmas tree covered with decorations stood in the living room. Just looking at it made one feel dreamy. Toru Watanabe put away the ladder and asked the two ladies if they needed any help. Leave the cooking to us. After that, Kiyono's mother looked at her daughter. Ling, take them to your bedroom to play. Rin Kiyono frowned slightly. What's so fun about the bedroom? Isn't it fun to look at childhood photos? Kun Watanabe is also interested, right? Kiyono's mother asked. Kujo's mother, who was wrapping the chicken in flour, echoed. I remember there's a photo of Miki and Ling, right? Remember to take it down and let us see it together later. I really miss it. In the blink of an eye, we're almost old. Stop it. You're getting younger and younger recently. I'm the one who's really old. Tell me the secret. Because I have a son. Ah. Kiyono's mother touched her face with her right hand. Then if I adopt Kun Watanabe today, will I also slowly become younger? I'm afraid an adopted son won't do. It has to be a son-in-law. Ling, for mom, please. What was the topic just now? Rin Kiyono held her forehead and said helplessly to Toru Watanabe and Miki Kujo. Come with me. She walked up the stairs and escaped the disaster called marriage urging. Miki Kujo followed her up 2 steps. Suddenly, she turned around and looked down at Toru Watanabe. You want to go to Kiyono's room? She had a smile on her face. If one didn't know better, they would think that she was an amiable idol. There was one thing that had to be made clear. None of the beautiful female idols were as good-looking as Miki Kujo. At most, they could only reach the level of Yoshimi Tamamo, which was 8 points. Yes, Toru Watanabe answered honestly. Mainly because I want to see your childhood photos, Miki. So you like me that much? I like Miki the most. Really? Of course it's true. There's nothing truer than this in the world. Just like how apples always fall, humans evolved from apes, and the earth revolves around the sun. You cannot believe in the truth of science, but you can't not believe in my sincerity. Hearing this, Miki Kujo, who was originally smiling, turned gloomy. Stay here obediently. Her tone was sharp, and she ordered without any room for refusal. Miki Kujo turned around and prepared to go upstairs. Toru Watanabe quickly grabbed her little hand. Miki. You're not going to listen to me anymore? Miki Kujo turned around. Of course not. Toru Watanabe glanced at the kitchen table and whispered in her ear, You can't leave me here alone to meet my mother. Miki Kujo glanced at him, and then looked at Kiyono's mother who was talking to her own mother about skin care. She snorted coldly, shook off Toru Watanabe's hand, and went upstairs with her arms crossed. Toru Watanabe followed behind her with light steps. Under the red Christmas dress, her round and perky buttocks were swaying. Fortunately, Toru Watanabe was wearing a deer-horned hat. If it was a cow-horned hat, he might have bumped into her. After all, everyone knew that Toru Watanabe was an experiential transmigrator. Since he was dressed as a cow, he would naturally be angered by the red cloth. But now he was a deer. Did that mean he would be ridden? He could try. Besides, if a reindeer rode Santa Claus, such a contrast would be reasonable, right? Tonight, Miki Kujo suddenly stopped. Toru Watanabe, the distracted buck, almost bumped into her. What's wrong? He asked. Miki Kujo crossed her arms and looked at him as if he was trash. I feel a very perverted gaze. Ahem. Toru Watanabe cleared his throat. I like you. I can't help it. You walk in front. The two of us are still so. Toru Watanabe walked in front of her. In front of him was Rin Kiyono. Her 2 slender legs were swaying like white porcelain under the small skirt of her Christmas dress. Forget it. Walk behind me. My queen, it's taboo to change orders. I strongly disagree. Toru Watanabe did not dare to say this. The 3 of them walked up the stairs with ivory handrails. Come in. Rin Kiyono said, I haven't been back for a long time. The room was as big as the living room. This was only the visible space. The rest of the toilets, bathrooms, cloakrooms, dressing rooms, etc. were either in separate cubicles or hidden behind the wall. The whole house was built in a European style, but this bedroom was more Japanese. Although there was a heater, Toru Watanabe and Miki Kujo still sat under the quilt. Rin Kiyono made tea for them and brought them a box of biscuits. There's no fruit in the room. Don't bother the servants, she said. No problem. Toru Watanabe nodded. Miki Kujo was already lying down and resting with her eyes closed. Rin Kiyono looked at Toru Watanabe with hesitation. Do you want to see it? No. Rin Kiyono glared at him and turned around to take the photo album from the bookshelf. Watanabe-san, I'll tell you in advance that these photos were taken by my mother without permission. Rin Kiyono handed the photo album to Toru Watanabe and put her bare legs under the quilt. Yes, I understand. Toru Watanabe said perfunctorily and focused all his attention on the photo album. The photo album was very important and the content was very interesting. It could even be called a treasure. There was a photo of Rin Kiyono when she was just born. Your eyes are so big. Thank you. Rin Kiyono took a sip of tea, but most babies have big eyes. There's nothing praiseworthy about them. There was a photo of Rin Kiyono sucking on a pacifier and staring blankly at the camera with her big black eyes. Kiyono-san, you also suck on a pacifier? I know you've always worshipped me as a god, but unfortunately, my body is only that of an ordinary human. Does that mean that your spirit has already become a god? Rin Kiyono put down her teacup and brushed her long hair off her shoulders, showing a loving smile. Even if I'm not a god, I'm still an angel. This pacifier must be very expensive, right? If Watanabe-san likes it, I can have someone find it. There was a photo of Rin Kiyono and Miki Kujo wearing the same dress and chasing each other on the lawn. Ah, they're so close. It's even a couple outfit. This is called the same dress. It's different from the couple outfit you mentioned. There was a photo of Miki Kujo crying and Rin Kiyono, who was about to cry, angrily looking at her. There was a photo of toys scattered all over the floor. What's going on? Children quarreling. Kujo-san liked to cry when she was young. Miki Kujo, who was sleeping with her eyes closed, snorted non-committally. There was a photo of Rin Kiyono wearing a small suit and Miki Kujo wearing a wedding dress, smiling cutely. Miki, is it your second marriage? Shut up. How pitiful. There was a photo of Rin Kiyono carrying a black backpack and Miki Kujo carrying a red backpack when they were in first grade. This one is the cutest. Are you a lolicon? Rin Kiyono asked. If it's this cute, and it's the two of you, maybe I'll really become a lolicon. Watanabe-san, what you said can already be considered a criminal declaration. I'm praising you. Before Toru Watanabe could finish speaking, Miki Kujo pinched his thigh hard. Ouch. From then on, Rin Kiyono and Miki Kujo's expressions became more and more awkward. After that, there was only Rin Kiyono carrying a backpack, but her face was expressionless. Rin Kiyono carrying a backpack in middle school. She was lonely, strong, and beautiful. After looking through the photo album, the food downstairs was not ready yet. With nothing to do, Toru Watanabe lay down and continued looking through the photo album. Because the temperature was too comfortable, he unknowingly fell asleep. In a daze, he had a dream. Kamigawa, after school. He said goodbye to Keisuke Saito and didn't go to the Human Observation Department. Instead, he went downstairs directly. Looking out from the corridor of the school building, it was probably winter. The sky was dyed red, and for some reason, the clouds were spiraling. He looked down and saw Rin Kiyono sitting alone on a bench under the ginkgo tree in the courtyard, looking at the spiraling clouds. She stopped observing human beings and started observing the sky. Stargazing at the night, a practical guide to astronomical observation, can finally be put to use, he thought to himself. He walked down the stairs. Through the glass window in the stairwell, he saw Rin Kiyono sitting alone. He was about to walk up to her, smell her fragrance, and talk to her. What should he say? Should he tell her the reason for the clouds? Her footsteps were light. It was winter, but there was the sound of cuckoo chirping. He felt a faint warmth in his heart. Why did he feel this way? He didn't understand. If he could continue walking down this path, it would be good. He walked down the last step and only needed to walk forward to enter the courtyard. He called the girl's name. Watanabe. He was about to walk forward when he heard a voice calling him from behind. He turned around. Miki Kujo stood on the landing between the first floor and the second floor with her arms crossed. Watanabe. Yes? Get up. Toru Watanabe didn't open his eyes. He wriggled toward the source of the voice until he touched his knees. He pressed down on his knees that were trying to escape, raised his head slightly, and rested his head on it. "Miki, I dreamt of you. Let me say hello to you in my dream," Toru Watanabe mumbled. His right cheek that was pressed against her smooth thigh was slightly deformed because of the softness. A warm feeling spread to him. "Ah, it's so soft. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to sink in." Toru Watanabe gave a defenseless smile. He rubbed his cheek against the soft thigh that made him feel decadent. "Miki, you're amazing. Let's call it a day. I'm going to sleep like this." Hiss. Hiss. Before he could finish, his face was hit hard. A foot-shaped object stepped on his face. His mouth was crooked. The touch, size, and temperature were all in the shape of Miki Kujo. Wait. Toru Watanabe's mind instantly became clear. If the one stepping on his left cheek was Miki Kujo, then the thigh on which his right cheek was resting, whose thigh was it? He opened his eyes. Rin Kiyono's expression wavered. Her face was flushed, and she looked away. "Miki, listen to me." As he spoke, Toru Watanabe tried to get up, but Miki Kujo stepped on him. Just like in his dream, she crossed her arms and looked down at him with a cruel expression. She was attacking him from above and below. Toru Watanabe pouted. Miki Kujo's foot twisted vigorously on his face, as if she wanted to crush his face. Toru Watanabe hugged her foot with both hands. "Miki, you're pretty good at the time. You're standing on top of thick cotton leaves and calling me. I mean, it's you. Watanabe-san, can you get up? I'm going to sue you for harassment." "Sorry, Noya wants to piss you off." Just as he was wondering if he was enjoying or being tortured, there was a knock on the door. "Rin, Miki, Kuen Watanabe, it's done. Come out." The voice was gentle. It was Kiyono's mother. Miki Kujo finally removed her foot. "Aunt Kiyono, you really are my mother." Just as he was thinking this, Toru Watanabe's ear was grabbed and pulled up by force. "Are you going to fall in? I thought it was you. So soft. I thought it was you. You're going to sleep? I thought it was you. Squeaky. I thought it was you." Kiyono's mother looked at Toru Watanabe's red ears and asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Kuen Watanabe, what's wrong with your ears?" "It's nothing. I just slept in a bad position." "Then why are you rubbing your face?" Kujo's mother asked. "My face is numb too." "What sleeping position? Why are you like this?" The two mothers were curious. Rin Kiyono turned her face away and stretched out her snow-white shoulders under her Christmas dress. She was shaking slightly, trying to hold back her laughter. Miki Kujo glanced at her and snorted. "Okay, let's start the Christmas party." Kiyono's mother pressed a switch, and the castle-like chandelier above them went out. Apart from the fireplace, the living room was pitch black. But the next moment, the lights on the 10-meter-tall Christmas tree lit up with the song, Jingle Bells. Although it wasn't bright, it was enough light to see the surroundings. It filled the entire living room. Under the pressure of their mothers, the five of them each held a firecracker. Kujo's mother counted, 1, 2, 3. "Merry Christmas." Everyone started the firecrackers. After the firecrackers, the five of them drank a glass of wine. 3 of them weren't old enough to drink yet. "Okay, let's exchange gifts." Kujo's mother put down her wine glass and said impatiently, "Kuen Watanabe, I've prepared an excellent gift for you." "Are we exchanging gifts directly?" Toru Watanabe asked. "Of course not. Although I really want you to get it, you have to abide by the rules." Kujo's mother clasped her hands together, causing waves to surge in front of her chest. Toru Watanabe averted his gaze and decided not to look at her. "I've already asked someone to prepare it." Kiyono's mother rang the bell, and a maid walked over and bowed to everyone. Toru Watanabe watched this scene in confusion. Kiyono's mother explained, "Kuen-sang will sing a song today. We'll pass each other's gifts clockwise. When Kuen-sang stops, The gift in his hand will be his own Christmas gift. Kuan-sang bowed again. What about mine? Rin Kiyono asked. Then let's continue. Do you understand? Kiyono's mother looked at the three young people. Let's begin. Toru Watanabe took out the Christmas gift he had prepared. I can't wait. Kuan Watanabe is really impatient, but I don't hate him. Kiyono's mother said this sentence. Kuan Watanabe is my son. Kujo's mother reminded. He's our son. Kiyono's mother smiled and looked at the maid standing by the side. Kuan-sang, sorry to trouble you. Yes. The maid named Kuan-sang, Jingle Bells, softly. Her voice was soft and pleasant to the ears. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what funitisteride. The two beautiful girls refused, but the two aunties were in high spirits. Not only did they sing along, but they also peeked at other people's gifts from time to time. Women always said that men were children who never grew up, and they would always be young girls. Kuan-sang, were sitting on a sleigh, and stopped singing. Did anyone get their gifts? Kiyono's mother asked. No. Toru Watanabe answered. I didn't either. Rin Kiyono said. No. Miki Kujo didn't get it either. Us too. Let's start opening our gifts. Let's start with Kuan Watanabe, okay? No problem. Toru Watanabe got Rin Kiyono's ugly bag. The second one was Miki Kujo. She got Kiyono's mother's Christmas gift, a white wide-brimmed sun hat. Let's go to New Zealand for a holiday this winter. Just as Toru Watanabe was thinking about why he would get a sun hat in winter, Kiyono's mother suggested. Okay. Miki Kujo nodded, thank you auntie. The third one was Rin Kiyono's Christmas gift from Kujo's mother. Amazing. When Rin Kiyono opened her gift, Kujo's mother said. After that, Rin Kiyono took out a red box the size of a cigarette box from the beautifully wrapped box, with the word 0.01 inch written on it. I prepared it for Kuan Watanabe. After all, he's still young. Kujo's mother said. Auntie Kujo. Rin Kiyono clasped her hands and put them on her forehead. Her face was facing the table, and her tone was full of helplessness. Don't be angry. Why don't you exchange gifts with Kuan Watanabe? Kujo's mother pretended to have a good idea. In my hand is Kiyono's Christmas gift. Toru Watanabe waved the ugly designer bag in his hand. Then only Miki can exchange gifts with Rin. Kujo's mother looked at her daughter. Miki Kujo took a deep breath, put the white sun hat on the table, and reached out to take out the box of 0.01 inch. Rin Kiyono didn't stop her. No one knew if she acquiesced or if she was still in a daze. Miki Kujo's slender white hand and the red box formed a strong contrast. Toru Watanabe couldn't help but peek. Miki Kujo noticed his gaze and threw the box on his lap. Take it. We also. Be careful. Kujo's mother looked at the two gently. Chapter 200. Kiyono's mother got the belt prepared by Toru Watanabe, while Kujo's mother got her daughter's bath gel. Both of them were very satisfied. Next, everyone shared the cake baked by Kiyono's mother and ate the fried chicken made by Kujo's mother. In addition, there was a variety of dazzling food. Roasted suckling pig, sausages, ham, stewed meat, steak, lamb chops, pork chops, mashed potatoes, French fries, ketchup, pastry tarts, ice cream, salad, various puddings, various fruit pies, roasted duck, pan-fried buns, spring rolls, dumplings, puffs, biscuits. Kyoto's kaisha cuisine, Osaka's takoyaki, Hokkaido's seafood, Nagoya's grilled eel, Tokyo's sushi, Nagano's buckwheat noodles, Kyushu's puffer fish. All of these dishes were placed around a huge golden roasted turkey, filling the long table. Kuan Watanabe, how's the fried chicken? I haven't made this in a long time, Kujo's mother asked. Toru Watanabe dipped the fried chicken in chili sauce and took a big bite. Honestly? He asked the 4 people in the room in a tentative tone. Go ahead, there's no need to be polite with me, Kujo's mother said with a smile. Compared to me, there's still a gap. Kun Watanabe knows how to cook? Kiyono's mother was dipping sliced suckling pig in white sugar. This scene reminded Toru Watanabe of Hokuji Bridge. When he was studying and traveling, Rin Kiyono said that she dipped suckling pig in white sugar. No, he said. I worked in a supermarket near Nishi Shinjuku Station, in charge of the cooked food section. Cooked food section? Yes, mainly oden, all kinds of fried food, and fried chicken. I worked 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 2 weekends. During the time I was in charge, the cooked food section's turnover was much higher than other times. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that I was the little prince of the cooked food section. That good? I want to try it, Kujo's mother said expectantly. It's useless even if you're good. The boss has never given me a raise. Besides these, what other jobs did Kun Watanabe do? Kiyono's mother asked curiously. Don't talk nonsense, Rin Kiyono and her mother said at the same time. What nonsense? Toru Watanabe was unhappy. Kiyono classmate, when did I lie? Rin Kiyono put down the apple pie in his hand. She calmly said, You're always trying to be smart. Then, she pointed out the truth. You're just good looking. You guessed? Toru Watanabe asked. Am I wrong? Rin Kiyono asked. I'm so handsome. No matter what I do, I'll inevitably be affected. Use your brain more to think about serious matters. Don't think about lying all day long. Rin Kiyono said bluntly. Everyone has their own situation. With my intelligence, I can easily deal with serious matters. That's why I have a lot of time to relax my brain. Intelligence? In front of me? Number 1 in the country. Toru Watanabe puffed up his reindeer chest. Using grades to measure a person's intelligence already proves that you're not smart enough. Moreover, you're narrow-minded. Amazing. Not only is your brain useless, but you're also denying my vision. Is this what you call paying me back double? Rin Kiyono covered her mouth with her hand to hide her smile. At this moment, Kiyono's mother's voice sounded. She was also smiling. Stop arguing, you two. Kun Watanabe, did you hear what I just said? Crap. This word popped up in Toru Watanabe's mind. Sure enough, from the corner of his eyes, Miki Kujio was also looking at him from the corner of her eyes. Their eyes met. She meant, I'll deal with you later. In addition to the supermarket, I've also held up billboards. But that kind of work requires me to pay the part-time company a dispatch fee. It's also very tiring. Unless I'm short of money or have other reasons, I won't do that. So you heard my question. I thought you only had eyes for Ling. Kiyono's mother pretended to be surprised. Miki Kujo ate the king crab leg in boredom. Under the table, she stepped on Toru Watanabe's foot as if nothing happened. She ground it hard. The reindeer suit was really good stuff. It was thick enough. Toru Watanabe felt like Miki Kujo was giving him a massage. Right, I should find an opportunity to let Miss Kujo give me a massage. Toru Watanabe pretended to be in pain. Kun Watanabe, Kujo's mother asked curiously, can you tell me about your family situation? My family situation is very ordinary. Toru Watanabe continued the topic, a remote village, very poor. How poor is very poor? Kiyono's mother's tone had no malice. She was just curious. Toru Watanabe thought for a moment. In front of every house, I cut firewood and pile it under the eaves. It's very vivid, Kiyono's mother said with a smile. After all, it's hard not to have a rich imagination when thinking about improper things all day long. Rin Kiyono, who was eating a roasted suckling pig with chopsticks, rolled her eyes at him. Honey, Miki Kujo pulled out a crab leg meat and made a gesture of feeding Toru Watanabe. "Thank you, sweetheart." Toru Watanabe opened his mouth. Miki Kujo ate the crab leg meat herself. The two mothers chuckled. Toru Watanabe ate a strawberry the size of a baby's fist and continued to speak. "But firewood is used less now. It's piled up there, and if you don't pay attention, animals will build nests on it." They quietly listened to Toru Watanabe finish speaking. "What animals?" Miki Kujo asked. "Sometimes it's birds. Sometimes it's snakes." "Snakes?" Kiyono's mother was a little scared. "Yes. I saw snakes lay eggs with my own eyes. Later, my father asked the villagers for a cat, but the cat slept on the firewood all day long. The birds and snakes were all gone." Toru Watanabe ate another strawberry. Miki Kujo picked up the wine and asked, "Tell me about your father. Do we have to talk about this at Christmas?" Toru Watanabe looked around at the people around the table. Compared to the indecent things you think about all day long, this is very serious. Rin Kiyono wanted to eat steak. Kujo's mother brought the plate to her, and she thanked her softly. It was the best steak, fried until half done, cut into long strips, and drizzled with special sauce. "My father is a very ordinary person." Toru Watanabe's image of his father emerged in his mind. He neither cares about the economy, nor is he interested in who is the prime minister. The only thing worth showing off in his life is that when he was young, he climbed Mount Fuji on a motorcycle. Climbed Mount Fuji? Well, that was when he was in high school. Toru Watanabe nodded. Later, the Yamaha motorcycle that he was afraid of being stolen even when he was asleep was sold after he married my mother. He replaced it with a Honda Coyote, which is convenient for transporting goods. What an amazing father! Toru Watanabe nodded. Then he shook his head and said with a smile, "No matter where the father is, it's the same." "What about your mother?" Rin Kiyono wiped her lips, which had just eaten steak, with a napkin. "My mother is even more ordinary. Other than me, she doesn't seem to have anything worth showing off." But then again, Toru Watanabe laughed. Climbing Mount Fuji on a motorcycle isn't something worth showing off. Parents' greatest pride will always be their children. Kiyono's mother looked at her daughter with both pride and sadness. Miki also suffered a lot. "Come, mommy will feed you." Kujo's mother held a piece of special blue and white fish sushi in her hand. Miki Kujo picked up the plate and gestured for her mother to put it on top. Kujo's mother, Kiyono's aunt, Miki's and Kiyono's classmates are indeed excellent. But it's not that I'm conceited, but whether it's music, sports or grades, they are no match for me. "What did you say?" Queen Miki Kujo looked at him. "Say it again." "Watch your words, Toru Watanabe." Kiyono's majestic gaze shot over. "Music." Kujo's mother remembered and said, "By the way, Kun Watanabe's oboe is very good. Why don't you play it for us as a Christmas event?" "I heard about it too." Kiyono's mother looked at Toru Watanabe expectantly. Kujo's mother, Kiyono's mother, you are all my mothers. Ignoring the two beautiful girls' sharp eyes, Toru Watanabe said to the two wives, "Of course, it's my pleasure." Kiyono's mother called a servant and asked her to go to the instrument room to get the oboe. When the servant was about to leave, she called her again. "By the way, get 2 more trumpets." "Yes." "Aunt Kiyono's going to play it too?" "Of course it's you young people who play it for us." "Miki's also learning trumpets?" Toru Watanabe asked Miki Kujo curiously. "I've also learned percussion instruments," Miki Kujo said with a smile. "Do you want to try?" "Of course, if I'm free." The servant brought the instruments. The two granddaughters of Santa Claus, a cute buck, played Jingle Bells and Santa's Daughter. The trumpet was originally a solo instrument with a loud and clear sound, but Rin Kiyono and Miki Kujo did not give way to each other. Coupled with Toru Watanabe, who was shaking his head and playing the oboe like a swana, the sound was a mess. But it was very much like a Christmas party. It was very lively. Kujo's mother sang a song in Italian. Her high-pitched voice was gorgeous and clear. Toru Watanabe changed the rhythm to match her. When Kujo's mother finished singing, Kiyono's mother sang a jazz song with a contralto. After that, Miki Kujo was forced by her mother to sing Matsuda Seiko's Uniform. Rin Kiyono sang Blooming Like a Rose, Scattering Like Cherry Blossom Petals. It was Toru Watanabe's turn. As soon as he opened his mouth, the four of them asked him to continue playing the oboe. The atmosphere was lively. Bursts of happy laughter resounded in the spacious living room, shuttling back and forth between the branches of the 10-meter-tall Christmas tree. Kujo's mother and daughter sang a song, accompanied by Rin Kiyono's trumpet. "The roast pig is gone," Kiyono's mother suddenly said. There was not a whole roast pig on the table. Instead, it was sliced and served on a plate. The most delicious part was taken. Kun Watanabe. Kiyono's mother stood up. "Sorry to trouble you." "Okay." Although Toru Watanabe wondered why the servant did not serve it, he still stood up. The two of them left the living room and walked into the kitchen one after the other. Kiyono's mother did not let the chef cut it. Instead, she put on gloves and did it herself. Toru Watanabe held a plate. The knife cut through the roast pig skin, making a crisp sound. A layer of shiny grease gradually covered the knife. Just listening to the sound made Toru Watanabe want to eat. Kiyono's mother cut the roast pig and set the plate, saying, "Kun Watanabe, how is your relationship with Rin?" "We're friends." Toru Watanabe looked at the roast pig and wondered which part of it was best. "If you're friends, you should know a lot about Rin." "Yes." Toru Watanabe stopped eating and waited quietly for her to continue. "Kun Watanabe, since that incident, you've been Rin's only friend. I hope you can help her." "Help her? She can't lie about it. Do you think it's a bad thing? What do you think? Is it good or bad?" Toru Watanabe looked at Kiyono's mother. She was obviously a rich lady, but she was very skilled in cutting the roast pig with a knife. "I think it's good either way," he said. "I told Kiyono that I would be her friend forever. No one can stay with someone who can see through lies forever." Kiyono's mother continued cutting the roast pig. Tetsumasa Watanabe wanted to say something, but Kiyono's mother interrupted him and spoke before he could. "You're young now. You've only known her for less than a year. You don't feel anything because she's new and beautiful. In a few years, when you're 20 or 30, can you guarantee that you can still stay by her side? Then I should be used to it," Toru Watanabe said with a smile. Kiyono's mother looked up at him and said jokingly, "What if you run away halfway?" "Run away halfway? It's not compulsory. Of course, you can leave her at any time." "I understand what you mean. You can't expect others to accommodate her. You have to let her change herself? If that's the case, of course, it's the best, whether it's for Ling herself or for Kiyono's family." The roast pig was placed in a position that it couldn't and was absolutely unwilling to do on its own. How pitiful. "I'm sorry, Aunt Kiyono." Toru Watanabe said, "Just now, I said, it's good either way. Actually, that's not right. It should be. As long as it's Kiyono's own decision, anything is good." Kun Watanabe. Kiyono's mother placed a piece of roast pig on the plate in Toru Watanabe's hand and looked into his eyes. "You like my daughter?" "Huh?" Toru Watanabe was shocked. "Why do you ask this? Miki and I are dating. Since you don't intend to help Ling change, in order to not let her be alone, I can only make it so that even if you can't bear it, you can't run away. You can only continue to get used to her." "Are you scared?" Kiyono's mother laughed, like an adult playing a prank on a child. "I won't force you. Do you want to make up your mind while you like Ling so much that you can bear her shortcomings? You can leave everything to me." Toru Watanabe didn't know if she was hinting at the Kujo family when she said, "Leave everything to me," or if she was saying that when he couldn't bear Rin Kiyono anymore, he wouldn't be able to run away. After a moment of silence, Toru Watanabe said, Are there any more crabs? You're so stingy. You only put a little bit. It's not even enough for my Mickey. Kujo's mother walked in accompanied by a few complaints, a few smiles, and a voice that sounded like the melody of a musical instrument. Crabs are cold. It's not good for girls to eat too much. Kiyono's mother replied with a smile, then turned her head and said to Toru Watanabe, Kun Watanabe, you too. No matter if it's a man or a woman, your stomach will feel uncomfortable if you eat too much. Oh, okay. Don't listen to her nonsense. Kujo's mother laughed and scolded as she walked closer. Kun Watanabe, isn't the point of having money so that you can eat what you want when you want to eat? Kun Watanabe is not a rich person. Moreover, if you have money, you need to protect your body even more, Kiyono's mother said. My son, who said he doesn't have money. Kujo's mother picked up a piece of roasted suckling pig from Toru Watanabe's plate. The crispy skin was crunched, and there was a crisp sound. We're not even married yet. You're in too much of a hurry to be my mother-in-law, Kiyono's mother said with a smile. Kujo's mother did not reply to her. While eating the roasted suckling pig, she said to Toru Watanabe, Kun Watanabe, in the future, if you want to buy a luxury car, a yacht, eat any delicious food, or wear any expensive clothes, it's fine. Oh. But, in terms of women, you can only have Mickey, Kujo's mother said with a smile. She looked very similar to Mickey, so much so that when Toru Watanabe saw her smiling face, his heart had a conditioned reflex. Of course. He promised. You're lying to me, right? Why would I? Kun Watanabe, I'm not speaking as the head of the Kujo's family, nor as the Kujo's mother. I'm just speaking as an ordinary person. It's fine if you treat me as an older sister or a friend. I'm talking to you as such. Don't feel burdened. You're really young. If I wasn't Mickey's boyfriend, I would have thought that you were only 20 years old. This child, you really know how to talk. But this is all thanks to you. That's not true. You're young to begin with. Kun Watanabe, the Kujo's family will not do anything to let you down. We'll let you enjoy life to the fullest. But you have to promise me that you'll never do anything to let Mickey down in the future. Of course. Kujo's mother picked up a piece of roasted suckling pig and put it in front of Toru Watanabe's mouth. Holding a plate, you can only look but can't eat. How pitiful. I'll feed you, Auntie Kujo's mother. Toru Watanabe leaned back. Stop fooling around. Kiyono's mother took off her gloves and said with a smile, Hurry up and bring it back. Okay, I'll leave first. Toru Watanabe hurriedly left the kitchen. Kujo's mother put the piece of roasted suckling pig into her mouth. The skin is crispy and the meat is tender. Unfortunately, it's too greasy. Aren't you here to get some crabs for Mickey? There's some in the tank that just arrived. The chef is steaming them. Kujo's mother said, But you're too much. That's the husband that Mickey likes. He's also Rin's only friend. Then there's no other way. Kujo's mother licked the grease off her fingers and said indifferently, There's only war left. Wow, you're very confident. I won't lose to you. Kujo's mother reached out and pinched Kiyono's mother's belly. With that little belly of yours? I don't even have a belly when I'm standing. Also, you just became pregnant recently, right? Chapter 201. The Christmas party started just after dark and lasted until 8:30. Toru Watanabe didn't know what the two ladies were going to do next, but the three young people were going to watch the lantern show. The girl took off her Christmas dress, and Toru Watanabe also took off his reindeer suit. They left the palace-like villa. The moonlight was clear and bright, and the surroundings were quiet and peaceful. The hustle and bustle of Tokyo couldn't reach here. The car was already parked in front of the door. It's a rare opportunity. How about we walk to Tokyo Tower? Toru Watanabe suggested. Walk. Miki Kujo crossed her arms. Yes. I looked at the map, it only takes 30 minutes to walk to Tokyo Tower from here. On the way, we can stroll around the mall and look at the lights along the way. It's Christmas. Driving might not be as fast as walking. Rin Kiyono nodded gently. Then let's go. Miki Kujo didn't care. The temperature at night was much lower than during the day, and the three people's breath turned into visible white smoke. What did they say to you when you were in the kitchen for so long? Miki Kujo asked with her arms crossed. Roast suckling pig or crab is better. Toru Watanabe answered. Miki Kujo wore a red trench coat with a hat, and a white shirt with beautiful creases on the chest. Her slender legs were exposed under a brown short skirt, and she wore black pantyhose. Walking on the quiet street in the winter night, she looked like a moving red rose. Watanabe-san, which one do you think is better? Rin Kiyono gently breathed into her palm. In front of them, do you think I have the right to choose? I'll eat whatever I have. As the three people walked out of Nagata village, the street gradually became lively. When they stood at a large intersection, they looked around and saw a Christmas atmosphere. The street was decorated with sparkling lights, and pedestrians came and went. Christmas songs poured into their ears, and they didn't know which shop it came from. The temperature seemed to have risen a lot. While waiting for the traffic light, someone greeted them from behind. Kiyono, Kuin Watanabe, Kujo. Toru Watanabe turned around and saw Aoi Ichiki waving as she walked towards him. Behind her were Mayasahi, Asako Hanada, and Yoshimi Tamamo. Miki Kujo looked at Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe leaned over and whispered in her ear. This guy is a lesbian. Be careful. By the time he finished speaking, Aoi Ichiki and the others had just walked up to them. Good evening. Good evening. Everyone greeted each other briefly. Kiyono-san, where are you guys going? Yoshimi Tamamo, who had a circle of white fur around her collar, asked. Tokyo Tower. Rin Kiyono replied indifferently. Us too. Do you want to come with us? Yeah, the more the merrier. It's easier to get separated. Aoi Ichiki agreed. That's pretty good. Miki Kujo said as she crossed her arms. Toru Watanabe was a little surprised. Why would Miki Kujo say something like that? Before he could cast a questioning look, Miki Kujo grabbed his arm and forcefully pulled him onto the zebra crossing that had just turned into a street light. Kiyono-san, you can play with them. My Watanabe and I also need some private space. Toru Watanabe was dragged away and turned around to look back. The crowd stood in place and watched them leave. Rin Kiyono opened her mouth, but in the end, she closed it without saying anything. Aoi Ichiki and Yoshimi Tamamo seemed to be suggesting which restaurant to eat later. Asako Hanada nodded on the side. Tomorrow's Linen Mai's clear eyes looked over. Toru Watanabe looked away. After crossing the zebra crossing, he pulled his sleeve out of Miki Kujo's hand. Are you going back? Miki Kujo asked with a smile. There was no warmth in her expression. It was colder than the December night. Toru Watanabe didn't answer. He just held her hand. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Miki Kujo's expression softened. Her smile gradually became warmer, and her eyes became contemptuous. The two of them walked hand in hand like they were ordinary lovers. They followed the crowd and walked towards Tokyo Tower. On the sidewalk, a street singer wearing a Christmas hat was singing. There were quite a few people around, and they also listened for a while. Tokyo that I've been to countless times, the beautiful city that you live in, Tokyo that I've been to countless times, the city of flowers that you live in bloom. The singer didn't look at the audience. He looked at the night sky affectionately, and occasionally strummed the guitar in his hand. It's a good song, but what does it have to do with Christmas? Toru Watanabe lowered his head and asked. How would I know? Miki Kujo leaned into his arms. Maybe it's because he came from another county to chase his dream. He misses his family during the season of reunion. So, do I have to sing too? Tokyo that I've been to countless times. Miki Kujo put her hand on Toru Watanabe's lips. After dropping a $100 coin into the box, the two of them continued to walk. In front of them was a family of 3. The father was wearing a suit, probably because he just got off work. The mother was wearing a long trench coat. Between the two of them, the child holding their hands jumped up from time to time. "Mom, when will Santa Claus come? He'll come after you fall asleep tonight." "But we don't have a chimney. Santa Claus doesn't go through the chimney anymore." The father lowered his head and smiled. The child turned his head and looked up. "Then where does he go? Where does he go? Dad wants to know too. Xiaoji, do you want to guess?" The child looked at the sky and thought. He didn't look at the road as he was led by his parents. Before he could think of an answer, his attention was attracted by Santa Claus, who was giving out balloons. The street was lined with ginkgo trees, decorated with lights. It was like a dream, like a fairy tale world. When Toru Watanabe and Miki Kujo passed by, Santa Claus also gave them a balloon. Toru Watanabe took it in his hand. "Miki, when did you stop believing in Santa Claus?" "Before school. I thought you didn't believe in it from the beginning." Rin Kiyono also had times when she sucked on a pacifier. "I understand, but why do you have to use her as an example?" "You can't bear to? Please tell me, how old was she when she wet the bed?" Miki Kujo first glared at him, then put on an uninterested expression. "You can ask her yourself. She won't lie anyway. Not lying doesn't mean she will answer this kind of question, right? Forget it. How do you know Santa Claus is fake?" "I made a wish to receive a star, but it never came true. I did get a few meteorites with holes." Santa Claus is so pitiful. Miki Kujo raised her elbow and gently poked Toru Watanabe's chest. "Then when did you stop believing in Santa Claus?" "I didn't believe in that kind of thing from the beginning." "I said I believed, but you said you didn't. Are you deliberately trying to appear mature? I've never even wet the bed." "Sure enough, you lied to me. I knew you weren't telling the truth. I think when you confessed, you said, you fell in love with me at first sight. That was also a lie." Miki Kujo left Toru Watanabe's arms and walked forward quickly. "Wait, I'm telling the truth." Toru Watanabe chased after her with the balloon. Miki, listen to me." "I'm not listening. I'm really not lying to you. How could I lie to you?" Miki Kujo, who was wearing a red windbreaker, hugged her elbows and strode forward with her slender legs. Okay. I wet the bed. Miki Kujo stopped and asked him coldly, "How old?" 6 months. Miki Kujo walked forward again. 1 year. Miki Kujo was very satisfied. She leaned her slender body into Toru Watanabe's arms again. "It's not easy to be in love," Toru Watanabe said with a sigh. "You've never wet the bed before, and you dare to say that to me?" Miki Kujo poked his nose with her finger. "Even if you're lying, you should be more convincing." Yes. "Really? You're really going to lie to me?" "No." They thought they would have to walk for a long time, but in the blink of an eye, they saw the orange Tokyo Tower. If they stood on the tower and looked down at the illuminated Tokyo, they would see a river of lights. There were many people lining up to climb the tower, but it was enough to just look at it from below. The multicolored neon lights were constantly changing. The starry lights covered the streets in the winter night, bringing light and warmth. Looking at these lights, all the gloominess of this year would be relieved under the baptism of light, and they would look forward to next year. Just as they were lost in thought, a cold wind blew. Toru Watanabe was fine, but Miki Kujo couldn't help but shiver. Perhaps she felt that her ears and cheeks were cold, so she put on the hood of her coat. Under the hood, her delicate face looked even more adorable. Toru Watanabe couldn't help but be fascinated by her appearance. Miki Kujo noticed the change in his eyes, and the corner of her mouth raised into a proud and contemptuous smile. Toru Watanabe pulled her into his arms, held her cheeks under the hood, and gradually moved his lips closer. His face was close, and Miki Kujo's fair face began to tremble. Under the Tokyo Tower, her black eyes reflected the light of the stars. When Toru Watanabe heard the sound of her heart beating faster, her long eyelashes fluttered like butterfly wings, and she closed her eyes. Their lips met. Toru Watanabe saw the bright lights, the interweaving people, the gorgeous Tokyo Tower, and the shy roses from the corner of his eyes. The world was full of light and color, and the scenery was beautiful. Everything was romantic and warm. When the two of them separated, Toru Watanabe realized that the thin man who was holding Miki Kujo had unknowingly embraced her. Miki Kujo also hugged him, and her rosy face leaned against his chest. The place where the two of them were was warm and romantic. The winter night was no longer lonely, and the cold wind was no longer bleak. Watanabe. Her voice rose and fell like the most beautiful melody in the world, and it was as warm as the world's most powerful Gulf Stream. Toru Watanabe hugged her tightly, smelling the fragrance of her hair. "I'm not going anywhere." His tone was full of affection. He personally put the ring on Miki Kujo's finger. If she was here, he would stay here. The system's mission, the high-quality New Year's gift, and the skills beyond his level. Toru Watanabe didn't want to be bound by anything except himself. The color of the Tokyo Tower suddenly changed. Miki Kujo pushed Toru Watanabe away. "What's wrong?" he asked. "I'm going back." Miki Kujo tidied her hair. "Huh?" Toru Watanabe looked at his watch. "It's only 9:10. I want to stay with you a little longer. If you're afraid of the cold, we can find a restaurant." "No." "Then I'll go back with you." "Stop." Kujio Miyoshi tapped Toru Watanabe's forehead as he was about to hug her. "I have work to do today." "No." Toru Watanabe was a little speechless. "Can't I take a day off for Christmas? I'm going back home tomorrow." "It's because it's Christmas that you have to work hard." "What do you mean?" Toru Watanabe was puzzled. Miki Kujo crossed her arms and ordered, "You don't need to know the reason. Just listen to me." "Okay." Toru Watanabe was confused. He didn't understand what his queen was thinking. Miki Kujo got into a luxury car that was parked on the side of the road and merged into the crowded traffic. Toru Watanabe, who was left in the same place, felt the cold wind and began to hesitate whether or not to continue the system quest. After thinking about it, he decided to take a taxi home. After waiting for a long time, the taxi still didn't show up, so he had to walk to the Kamiya tram. On the road, the pedestrians looked at him strangely. Toru Watanabe looked at the balloon in his hand, wondering if he should give it to a passing child or tie it to a tree. If he had a girlfriend, it wouldn't be strange for him to carry a girl's bag or wear high heels, let alone a balloon. After walking for 5 minutes, Toru Watanabe, who was about to eat something, saw a familiar figure. Rin Kiyono was wearing a white turtleneck sweater, a long cardigan, and a long brown skirt. Under the illumination of the streetlights, her black hair swayed, making her look especially charming. "Kun Watanabe, why are you alone? Where's Kujo-san?" Aoi Ichiki looked around. She suddenly said she had to work, so she went back. Toru Watanabe had a headache. "She has to work on Christmas Day? Kujo-san must be working hard." Aoi Ichiki nodded and said sympathetically, "Then what's Kun Watanabe going to do?" "Go home." Kun Watanabe lives alone, right? He has nothing to do at home, so do you want to continue walking with us? Aoi Ichiki suggested. Toru Watanabe looked at them. Tomomi Tamamo's face was filled with displeasure, Hanada Choko's small face was filled with nervousness, and her figure was slender and slender. She had a small bag on her shoulder, and her expression was indifferent. "Forget it." He shook his head. "You're going back to Iwate Prefecture tomorrow, right? Stay a little longer today." Rin Kiyono's tone sounded more like an order than a discussion. "Okay." Toru Watanabe followed them back. Waiting at the crossroad, Aoi Ichiki suggested that they go to Tokyo Tower to eat ramen. Watanabe-san. Toru Watanabe, who was looking at balloons to kill time, retracted his gaze and looked at Rin Kiyono. You said before that we don't have the right to choose, and that we eat whatever we have. What? Oh, who did you say about roasted suckling pig and crab? I don't think it's a disaster to have no right to choose, to fall into misery and despair. Then what is it? I think it's a time for people to grow. An answer that suits your identity. Toru Watanabe nodded. Rin Kiyono suddenly turned around and stared straight at him. What's the matter? Toru Watanabe felt uncomfortable under her stare. You don't have the right to choose, and you just go with the flow. Even if you look good on the outside, your heart is already rotten. I'm sorry to say that your heart is rotten. Rin Kiyono chuckled at Toru Watanabe's attempt to change the topic. You told me before that the time you missed the most was working every day, right? Suddenly, there was a soft cheer from the crowd. It was snowing. Aoi Ichiki shouted, "It's a white Christmas." Amidst the cheers, Rin Kiyono tucked her long hair behind her ear and spoke softly but firmly to Toru Watanabe. No matter what you choose, Watanabe, you have to be yourself. White snow fell between the two of them. After a moment of silence, Toru Watanabe sighed as he took off his jacket and draped it over Rin Kiyono's shoulders. It doesn't matter if I'm myself or not. Don't catch a cold. Chapter 202. It was the first snow of the year. Snowflakes drifted down from the night sky, fluttering in the wind. It's a white Christmas. It's so nice to be out tonight. It's so beautiful. I'm so lucky. Is it because I'm with you? Are you cold? Shall I hug you? Okay, amidst the sound of wheels rolling on the road, the couples waiting at the traffic lights were brewing a special atmosphere. Everyone was happy. Toru Watanabe also smiled and asked Rin Kiyono, "Does this count as admiring the moment when the rain turns into snowflakes in the middle of the night?" Let's not talk about the time first. It's just snow. There's no rain. No matter how far-fetched it is, it doesn't count. Toru Watanabe's coat was too big for her, and the contrast made her figure look even more slender and well-proportioned. The originally imposing and inviolable noble beauty had become petite and cute. So calculative. Toru Watanabe opened his hands, and snow fell on his palms. There's more. Rin Kiyono's tone became heavier. There's more? There's more. Rin Kiyono looked at the loose coat on her body. I thought I knew you well enough. I didn't expect that your bottom line is still beyond my imagination. What do you mean? Can you not do this kind of thing without permission? It's fine if you're frivolous. You can barely be considered humorous. But if you're frivolous in your words and actions, you're just a pure pervert. You hate it. Toru Watanabe clenched his fists. A chill came from where the snowflakes melted. Not only do I hate it, but I also dislike it. Sure enough, the more beautiful something is, the more painful it is. Toru Watanabe put his hand on his forehead and sighed. I won't give my coat to anyone just because it's beautiful. I can't deny that it's beautiful. Rin Kiyono touched the corner of her mouth gracefully. Toru Watanabe was speechless. But looking at Rin Kiyono, she didn't seem angry. Wait. Arsan, I have a question. Ask away. Is shyness also a kind of rejection? Toru Watanabe bent down slightly, tilted his head, and stared unblinkingly at Rin Kiyono's face. Are-san? Ah-san? Toru Watanabe drawled. Ah! Aoi Ichiki exclaimed. How cunning! Kuin Watanabe only gave Kiyono a jacket. Everyone turned around. Mayasahi blinked twice and stared at the clothes on Rin Kiyono's shoulders. It can't be helped. Kiyono classmate is physically useless, but she's also my friend. Toru Watanabe said. I'm your friend too. Why don't you give it to me? Since when were we friends? They were just classmates who were close to each other. Alright, I can give this to you. Toru Watanabe finally got rid of the balloon. Aoi Ichiki held the balloon in her hand and let out a disappointed sigh. Itsuki classmate, don't make things difficult for Watanabe classmate. With Kujo classmate looking at him, other than me, do you think he would dare to have any other female friends? Rin Kiyono laughed sarcastically. Toru Watanabe glanced at this woman. He shouldn't have let her go just now. Watanabe, are you cold? Mayasahi's voice was like the snow, without any warmth, but pleasant. Thank you, senior. I'm not cold at all. Every morning, I only wear short sleeves for my morning jog. Mayasahi walked over and suddenly held Toru Watanabe's hands with both hands. Ah dash! Aoi Ichiki exclaimed. The balloon in her hand left her hand and slowly rose into the night sky against the first snowfall. Asako Hanada covered her mouth with both hands. She was like a primary school girl who saw two people kissing in front of her on the tram. Senpai. Toru Watanabe was so scared that he was almost sweating, let alone feeling cold. Seino Rin had already begun to ponder. After 3 seconds, Mayasahi nodded lightly. Yes, I'm not cold. Senior. Aoi Ichiki came back to her senses and quickly pulled her away. This kind of thing, no matter how natural it is, you can't do it. Mayasahi tilted her head and looked at her in confusion. How should I say this? I know you just want to know if Kun Watanabe is cold, but suddenly holding a boy's hand, this kind of thing. Before Aoi Ichiki could finish her explanation, Mayasahi looked across the road. The light is green. What? Oh. The topic ended there. Under the command of the traffic police on Christmas Day, everyone followed the crowd and crossed the road. They first went to Tokyo Tower, then wandered around the streets for a while. Finally, the snow got heavier, so they hid in a shopping mall. Rin Kiyono returned the jacket to Toru Watanabe. Thank you. It's my duty to protect beautiful women. Ah, so as long as it's a beautiful woman, you will give her a jacket. I thought you only cared about me. In my heart, only you are a beautiful woman. Lies. Please call this sweet talk, or to make you happy. The purpose of entering the mall was to hide from the snow, but after buying the milk tea, it quickly changed to buying clothes. Under the lead of Yoshimi Tamamo, the group went to the floor where women's clothes were sold. Toru Watanabe sat on a bench beside the escalator and took out a free magazine to read. The girls, young women, and women who passed by kept looking at him. Some directly came to talk to him, but Toru Watanabe rejected all of them expressionlessly. It was normal for women to like him. If he showed a charming smile, even if he rejected them verbally, this liking would turn into obsession. Although he had a girlfriend and a lover now, he was not a casual person. Other than Aoi, and Senpai, he would not look at other women, in terms of love. When Tetsumesa Watanabe was staring at an article in the magazine called Street Parade, Famous Eastern Kyoto Lantern Show, someone called his name. Watanabe? Toru Watanabe looked up and saw Aona Koizumi, Huang Zi, and Miyazaki Miyuki walking towards him with bags of various sizes. Why are you sitting here? Aona Koizumi looked at him in confusion, then at the shop opposite. Opposite was a women's underwear shop. Don't tell me, Huang Zi mischievously guessed, targeting women with big breasts, and then asking them to go to a hotel tonight? Good idea, why didn't I think of that? Toru Watanabe turned the magazine to the back. It was a romantic champagne golden tree walk in Marunouchi. It said, on the 1.2 kilometers long Marunii Chudamo, 2 rows of about 200 trees were hung with more than 1 million champagne golden LED lights, and the power source of all the light bulbs was. Hey! Are you looking down on me? Huang Zi took the magazine and flipped through 2 pages. Seeing that it was not about women's underwear, he immediately put it back to the magazine rack beside the escalator. What's the situation, boy? Miyazaki Miyuki, who had big breasts, asked. If Toru Watanabe really did what Huang Zi said and did that kind of thing, she would definitely become a target. Aona Koizumi looked inside the shop and guessed, "Are you waiting for Kujo-san?" "No, it's Kiyono-san and the others." Toru Watanabe looked at Aona Koizumi, his eyes sweeping past her pink lips. This shopping mall was not far from the Tokyo Tower. It could be considered as the Tokyo Tower. The mission required the remaining 3 people to kiss. All of them were gathered here. Toru Watanabe realized that this was an opportunity. However, except for Miyasahi, he did not have any plans to kiss the other 2. Miyasahi also had to wait for an opportunity. Now that there were more and more girls present, there was no time to be alone. "So it's Kiyono-san." Aona Koizumi nodded. She looked as if she was accustomed to Toru Watanabe's public infidelity, and did not think that there was anything wrong with it. "They." Huang Zi's eyes lit up, thinking that he caught the main point. Aona Koizumi's relieved gaze turned into a scrutinizing one again. Toru Watanabe tilted his head and looked into the shop through the gap of the wall formed by the 3 people. "There, it's them." He raised his chin towards the 5 girls who were picking out underwear in the shop. The female teachers turned around and looked into the shop. "These are all your harem?" Huang Zi pointed at them and asked Toru Watanabe in surprise. "How is that possible?" Toru Watanabe shook his head. "Except for the few from my school, I don't know the other customers and employees." Huang Zi waved her arm. The shopping bag in her hand hit Toru Watanabe's knee. "Are the teachers here also planning to buy underwear?" Toru Watanabe asked. "This." Aona Koizumi was too embarrassed to admit it in front of the students. "Of course." Huang Zi didn't feel embarrassed at all. "Do you want to be the staff officer?" "Is there such a good thing? Since it's a teacher's order, then there's nothing I can do." Toru Watanabe sighed and stood up. Huang Zi looked at him with disdain. Miyazaki Miyuki pointed at Toru Watanabe and said to Aona Koizumi, "Aonai, this is your favorite student?" Yes." Aona Koizumi answered a little reluctantly. "Koizumi, sensei, I like you the most. You answering in such a hesitant tone hurts my heart. Don't say stupid things so loudly. I can hear it in the shop." Rin Kiyono crossed her arms and stood at the entrance of the shop, looking over coldly. "Sorry." If there were only female students of the same age, Toru Watanabe would be too embarrassed to follow them in. But with the older teachers here, he didn't feel any burden. Toru Watanabe followed the 3 teachers into the underwear shop. 12s, 34s, full cup, traceless, front buckle, cross straps, no shoulder straps, white, red, black, pink, and blue. These weren't strange to Toru Watanabe. Miki Kujo might not like all of them or have worn all of them. But whether she liked them or not, it didn't affect her whether she wore them or not. She had everything in her closet. Everyone knew that if Miki Kujo had them, it meant that Toru Watanabe also had them. The female customers in the shop became more reserved. They deliberately lowered their voices when choosing the styles. Of course, there were also girls with good figures who deliberately raised their voices and acted more boldly. "It's so beautiful. Do you want to try this one? Does it look good? I think it suits you very well." Listening to their conversation, Toru Watanabe studied the faceless mannequin in front of him. It had perfect curves, so it looked good no matter what it wore. "How long are you going to stare at this laced underwear, Watanabe-san?" "I didn't pay attention to the style at all. I was thinking that it's impossible for everyone to have a body like the mannequin. Is this cheating?" Fortunately, it was Rin Kiyono who spoke. Otherwise, Toru Watanabe wouldn't be able to clear his name. He was staring at the mannequin just now, so he didn't pay attention to it at all. He was also thinking about the problem in a female underwear store. Who else could be such a serious handsome boy other than him, Toru Watanabe? It was too perfect. "Did you buy it?" Toru Watanabe asked Rin Kiyono with a satisfied mood. I'm still hesitating. Do you need help? Facing Toru Watanabe's good intentions, Rin Kiyono not only didn't feel grateful, but also glared at him. You stay here obediently. After saying that, she walked away. She didn't want him to know the size, or she didn't want him to see what style she bought. Toru Watanabe's memory was very good, so he could clearly recall seeing Rin Kiyono's underwear. It was the second day after the end of the first semester's final exam. The piano training was very late. Asako Hanada asked him to meet at a coffee shop, and then he met Rin Kiyono. Yes, at that time, she was listening to a song, and then in order to get the Don Quixote, he followed her to her apartment, and on the sofa. At the crucial moment of his memory, Toru Watanabe's body was pulled. Ha! Before he could react, he was already in the dressing room. The room was narrow, and through the full-body mirror, Toru Watanabe's eyes met with his own. Beside him was Masahi. Watanabe. Whispering in a low and charming voice, Masahi put her arms around his neck and put her lips on his. Before Toru Watanabe could come back to his senses, there was a wet, soft, and warm tongue in his mouth. There was no need for him to react, and he couldn't. He hugged her tightly. The feel of the long sweater, the soft and slender waist, and the softness of her chest were transmitted to his brain through his nerves, stimulating his emotions. Masahi's hand reached for his belt, and his hand reached for the buttons of her skirt. After an unknown period of time. Senior, I'm done. Aoi Ichiki's voice came from outside the curtain. Toru Watanabe came back to his senses. At this moment, Masahi's back was facing him, and her hand was holding the full-body mirror. The highest peak of the mountain range was flattened because it was close to the mirror. Her face was flushed, and her eyes were clear and blurred. Toru Watanabe stopped. Her neck and face, which were originally raised, were pressed against the mirror as if they had no strength. The hot breath from her mouth made the mirror foggy. Senior. Aoi Ichiki's voice came from outside the curtain again. Toru Watanabe quickly woke up Masahi, who was in a daze. When Aoi Ichiki called for the third time, Masahi said, I'm still trying. It's very troublesome to change clothes in winter. Oh right, senior, don't be in a hurry to change clothes. As soon as he finished speaking, Aoi Ichiki's footsteps could be heard. Toru Watanabe secretly lifted the curtain a little. Very good, very safe. He was about to go out, but just as he pulled up his pants, Masahi pulled him back. Senior, I want to go out. Masahi's long hair fell vertically on his lower abdomen. As it swayed, Toru Watanabe was speechless. Senior, I chose a set for you. Try it. The curtain was lifted slightly, and a hand handed in a set of underwear. Masahi was busy squatting on the floor. Toru Watanabe had no choice but to reach out and take the set of white underwear. I think senior will like this kind of simple style. Wrong, Yimi. The underwear your senior is wearing is so bold that it's beyond your imagination. None of this mattered. The key was, now, how was he going to get out? Toru Watanabe lifted Masahi's long hair and tucked it behind her small white ears. He began to think about this problem. Chapter 203. Toru Watanabe had read a lot of books. He went to Kamibocho's bookstore every week, so he understood a lot of things, so he heard the saying, when you talk about high school life, you will think of roses. But he never thought that high school life could be so rosy. If anyone has been blocked in the changing room and successfully escaped, please write a letter. Address, East Kyoto, Chiyoda District, Kiwacho 1-173-1. Recipient, Tokyo Handsome Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe sat cross-legged on the blanket, crossed his arms, and let his imagination run wild. In front of him, Masahi slowly and satisfactorily changed her underwear. Her skin that was usually wrapped in her uniform was boldly exposed, and her curves were alluring. Senpai, try this, I think it goes well with the underwear just now. Aoi Ichiki handed over one set after another, and her tone became more and more excited. This can't go on. Although he didn't know what Kiyono Kamisama was doing now, Toru Watanabe wasn't confident that he could hide it from her when she finished buying her underwear and came here. He didn't plan to hide Masahi from her, but he also had to look at the situation. Toru Watanabe stood up, and Masahi was buttoning her underwear. He whispered in her ear, "Senpai, let Itsuki classmate go get the underwear on the model at the door." There were 2 changing rooms in this store, so there were 2 of them. They were now in the innermost part of the store, so Aoi Ichiki went to the door, and there was enough time for him to sneak out. Masahi nodded, and said to the outside, "Itsuki, let me try the underwear on the model at the door." "Okay. Senpai, wait for me." Dong dong dong, the sound of distant footsteps. "I'm leaving," Toru Watanabe said to Masahi. Masahi wrapped her warm and smooth hands around Toru Watanabe's neck and kissed him affectionately. Toru Watanabe didn't dare to linger. He only touched her for a moment before pulling away. "Senior sister, poke your head out and see if there's anyone you know nearby." "Yes." Masahi lifted the curtain a little and poked her head out to look around before retracting it again. She shook her head at Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe held her hand reluctantly and then walked out decisively. Masahi's expressionless face showed a hint of disappointment. The next time they interacted like this would be next year. Before her sadness could reach its peak, Toru Watanabe, who was halfway out, hurriedly crawled back in. Because he was in too much of a hurry, he accidentally stepped on the clothes that she had casually taken off on the floor and almost slipped. Toru Watanabe unleashed his master-level kickboxing ability to its fullest extent and stabilized his body immediately. He pressed the finger of his right hand on Masahi's lips, signaling her not to ask why and to keep quiet. In less than a second, a voice sounded. "Let's choose this first and try it on." "I've chosen 2. Let's go together." It was the voice of Aona Koizumi and the others. Toru Watanabe was so scared that he broke out in cold sweat. Fortunately, they weren't looking at him just now. Otherwise, they would have seen him walk out of the fitting room. "Ah, this room is taken. I'll share it with you." It was Huang Zi's voice. "Sure. We can see if we're suitable for each other," Aona Koizumi replied. Next, there was the sound of the curtain being lowered. The 2 of them should have entered the fitting room. Toru Watanabe breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, he realized that the finger he pressed on Masahi's lips was already in her mouth. It was warm and moist. Just a few minutes ago, it belonged to another part of his body. His lower abdomen was warm, but Toru Watanabe didn't continue to let it go. Suppressing the distracting thoughts, Toru Watanabe pulled out his finger. He didn't have time to wipe off the saliva on it. He turned around and was about to lift the curtain. "Senior, I brought it." Toru Watanabe's breath was stuck in his chest and he almost fainted. Just a little bit more, and he would have lifted the curtain. Fortunately, he was just a little bit away. Masahi hugged Toru Watanabe's waist from behind and pressed her face against his back as if she was seeking something. The curtain was lifted slightly and Aoi Ichiki handed in the set of lacy underwear. Masahi whispered in Toru Watanabe's ear with a hoarse and charming voice due to her passion. "Che, help me take it." Toru Watanabe reached out and took the lacy underwear. "I didn't expect that Senior would also like this style." Aoi Ichiki's laughter could be heard. She was happy to discover another side of the person she liked. Masahi began to change into the underwear. The world was quiet for a moment. Toru Watanabe could hear all kinds of sounds. Masahi's voice. Outside the curtain, Aoi Ichiki was softly humming a song. Also, in the fitting room next door, Aona Koizumi and Huang Zi were taking off their clothes. The sound of clothes rubbing against each other could be heard. "Aonai, did you grow bigger?" "No, this sweater shows off your breasts." "What sweater?" "So shy. I want to buy one too." "You're so annoying. Stop touching." Once again, everyone, Toru Watanabe has a very good memory. Aona Koizumi was wearing a long white trench coat and a light pink turtleneck sweater today. The hem of the sweater was tucked into the knee-length skirt. On the skirt, there was a small black belt around the waist. Once again, everyone, Toru Watanabe has quick reflexes and a rich imagination. At this time, Aona Koizumi should have taken off her trench coat. She pulled the hem of the sweater out of the skirt, then raised her arm and took it off. Under the sweater, her round, soft, and bulging breasts should be jumping up and down along with the sweater being taken off, right? Then, she continued to take off her sweater. She took off her clothes under the sweater. Now, Aona Koizumi was wearing a skirt on the lower half of her body and only her underwear on the upper half of her body. Her small, tight waist. Then, she would take off her underwear and expose her breasts to the air. Wait. That's it. Toru Watanabe withdrew his thoughts from his fantasy, never to return. The real world would not stop because he stopped thinking. In the fitting room next door, there was the sound of clothes rubbing against each other. After taking off her clothes with great effort, there was the sound of light panting. Che! There was a delicate voice. Miyasahi's hand reached over. Toru Watanabe was pulled into another world. The calm surface of the lake started to ripple again. Women were very slow when it came to buying clothes. Not only did Miyasahi stay in the fitting room, Aona Koizumi and Huang Zi, who were next door, had the intention of trying on all the underwear in the shop with Miyazaki Miyuki's help. Toru Watanabe was glad that Rin Kiyono also had times when she sucked on a pacifier. She was also an ordinary girl. So far, he had not heard her voice. She should be in another fitting room with Asako Hanada and Yoshimi Tamamo. Miyasahi's finger gently slid over the mirror that was covered with mist from her body temperature. She opened her watery eyes. There were remnants of tiredness and satisfaction in them. Toru Watanabe hugged her tightly. He stroked her hair and smelled it. Their cheeks were pressed against each other. Her face was so hot that it was as if she had a high fever. After a while, Toru Watanabe let go of her. He pretended to take out a necklace from his trouser pocket. "Senior Mai, this is your Christmas present." He put it on for her. Under the thin necklace, there was a small silver bass horn. It sparkled under the warm lighting in the fitting room. The silver bass horn fell on Miyasahi's snow-white skin. Miyasahi stared at it without blinking. "I heard that you wanted to play the oboe, so I wanted to give you the oboe. But after thinking about it, I chose the bass horn. Do you like it?" Toru Watanabe asked softly. "Yes, I like everything about Toru. I will always wear it. I'm sorry, I can't give you more." Toru Watanabe's voice was gentle. Miyasahi shook her head gently. Her soft bangs swayed gently. "I'm willing, and I'm the one who caused trouble for Toru." Toru Watanabe held her hand and said softly but firmly, "Now, let's not say such things. Everything is voluntary. I'll listen to Toru." Miyasahi hugged Toru Watanabe's neck again. There was the sound of a dress being unbuttoned next door. Huang Zi went out. It was Miyazaki Miyuki's turn to try on clothes. "Miyuki, I have a few sets here. I think they'll suit you." Aona Koizumi's voice was gentle and pleasant. Aona Koizumi should only be wearing underwear now, right? Just thinking about that scene made his blood boil again. "I can't wear your size," Miyazaki Miyuki said with a little pride. "I know your size." Aona Koizumi said with a smile, "Look at the pattern and style first. If you like it, ask Huang Zi to bring the bigger size over." "Okay." Miyasahi put on her clothes, tidied up her hair, and put the tissue into the bag. Toru Watanabe listened to the movements next door and outside the curtain. After confirming that Huang Zi went to choose underwear, he whispered to Miyasahi, "Senpai, tell classmate Itsuki that she's ready to wear clothes. Ask her to help put these underwear back." Miyasahi repeated his words and handed over the underwear in the fitting room. After waiting outside for so long, Aoi Ichiki wasn't tired at all. It was unknown whether it was because there was a seat or because she was too excited. She walked away with a cheerful gait. As usual, he asked Miyasahi to poke her head out to check the situation first. Toru Watanabe looked at my Asahi's but, who only stuck her head out and bent her waist, and his heart was filled with desire again. The time was too short. It didn't satisfy his desire, but made him even hungrier. But indulging in the land of tenderness wasn't something he should do now. My Asahi retracted her head and shook her head at Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe didn't linger any longer. He opened the curtain and observed the situation, especially the direction where Aona Koizumi came from. After confirming that there was no one, he quickly walked out. It was safe. When he walked out of the door, he met Aoi Ichiki, who had just returned. Kuin Watanabe? Where did you go just now? I went to the other floors. Toru Watanabe said, Are you guys done yet? Soon. Tomorrow Senpai and I are done. Hanada Senpai, Kiyono-san, and Tamamo-san. There are 3 of them, so it should take some time. Girls are so troublesome. They take so long to buy underwear. Kuin Watanabe, you don't understand. Aoi Ichiki shook her finger and preached, Girls' underwear isn't as simple as boys. There are many styles, from cute to sexy. It's not easy to find the right underwear to bring out your charm. Is it necessary? It's not like it's the ultimate underwear. Of course. Kuin Watanabe, do you know about the hot girls group in Harajuku? I've been to Harajuku, and I've heard about the hot girls, but I didn't pay much attention to them. I've seen a magazine interview with them. There's a line in it, being exposed isn't scary, but when you're exposed, your underwear won't be cute. That's why every girl's underwear must be cute, just in case they're exposed. I probably won't be able to understand hot girls for the rest of my life. After listening to Toru Watanabe's words, Aoi Ichiki giggled. Hurry them up, Toru Watanabe said. Boys need to be patient. You'll make girls hate you. Fine, fine, fine. You guys take your time. I'll wait outside. Toru Watanabe walked out of the store and felt that the air was fresher. He interlocked his fingers, stretched his arms forward, and cracked his shoulders. When everyone finished shopping and gathered at the store again, Toru Watanabe had already memorized 2 magazines. Out of human instinct and greed, he had thought more than once that he should have stayed in the store longer. Of course, it was only a thought. If Rin Kiyono knew about this, she would have given him a lecture titled, Regret is the most useless emotion. But before that, she would probably say something else. Be careful, and remember to go back early. Okay. Take care, sensei. Okay. See you next year. Bye-bye. The 6 of them watched the 3 sensei disappear into the crowd. Toru Watanabe looked away and asked the remaining 5, What's your next plan? Take the tram to the harbor park. From there, you can see the Christmas fireworks on the stage. Aoi Ichiki had obviously done her homework in advance. Sorry, I'm a little tired. I'll go back first. Rin Kiyono was carrying a black bag in her hand. What kind of underwear was inside? What kind of color and style? Toru Watanabe thought about this question and said, I'll go back too. I still have to go back to my hometown tomorrow. The 2 of them said goodbye to the other 4. When they left the mall, it was still snowing outside, but it was much lighter. Toru Watanabe gave his jacket to Rin Kiyono. Thank you. Rin Kiyono's beautiful and cute face shrank into the collar of his jacket. Are you very cold? The ground is covered with snow, and it melts to absorb heat. It will feel colder than before. Do I have to teach you this common sense, Toru Watanabe-san? I see. Toru Watanabe pretended that he didn't see her shyness. They went to the station. The platform was crowded. Most of them were couples or family members who came out to play on Christmas Day. When they finally squeezed into the tram, there were no more seats. The 2 of them had to stand. This wasn't a big problem. Living in Tokyo, how could they not squeeze into the tram? They would be laughed at. The 2 of them occupied the door position. Toru Watanabe relied on brute force to protect Rin Kiyono. The tram shook and moved forward with a clanging sound. When the tram stopped at the Parliament Hall station, another large group of people got on. This time, it was completely crowded. In order not to take up too much space, Toru Watanabe also moved a little closer to Rin Kiyono. There was still a gap between the fabric of their clothes, but probably only dust and light could squeeze in. When the tram started, the carriage suddenly shook. Toru Watanabe's footsteps were very steady. He didn't move at all. However, Rin Kiyono, who was in front of him, didn't have a handrail. She stumbled and fell into his arms. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Sorry." Rin Kiyono raised her head. Toru Watanabe looked at her, amused. She rolled her eyes at him. Clang. Rin Kiyono's face fell into his arms again. "Are you okay?" "Yeah." Rin Kiyono combed her slightly messy bangs. Toru Watanabe looked at the night sky outside the window. Clang. "Why don't you just lean on me?" Rin Kiyono didn't say anything, nor did she raise her head. The two of them looked at the night sky outside the window at the same time, and then looked away at the same time. The glass window in the night was a mirror. At that moment, Toru Watanabe clearly remembered that his emotions were very strange. He asked himself, "Do I want to hold Rin Kiyono in my arms?" The answer, "It doesn't matter if I don't hug her." There was no lust. Her face was pressed against his chest, but why did he feel hot? No matter how shy a person's face was, it couldn't be like a piece of hot iron, right? Not to mention there was still a layer of clothes between them. So, was it because of himself that he felt the heat? He didn't have an answer to this question. The tram had already arrived at the Four Valleys station. Toru Watanabe walked Rin Kiyono to the front of the apartment. "Watanabe-san, thank you." Rin Kiyono returned his coat to him. Toru Watanabe put on the coat, straightened his collar, and said with a smile, "I'm the one who got lucky." "Huh?" Rin Kiyono tilted her head and looked at him in confusion. "This coat has your scent, so I'm going to sleep with it tonight." Rin Kiyono sighed with a headache and rubbed her forehead. "Watanabe-san, even if you're a pervert, your ambition is so small that it makes me despair. This is the most simple wish of a young farmer from Iwate Prefecture." Rin Kiyono laughed and covered her mouth elegantly. "You're going to embarrass Iwate Prefecture and the farmers." Toru Watanabe also laughed, but finally sighed as if he was tired and waved at her. "I'm leaving." He turned around and walked back to his rented apartment. He put his hands in his pockets and pulled his shoulders together to prevent the snow from falling on his neck. "Watanabe-san." Toru Watanabe turned around and looked at Rin Kiyono in the snow. "Merry Christmas." Toru Watanabe was surprised for a moment, then he took his right hand out of his pocket and waved, "Merry Christmas." He put his hand back in his pocket and started walking again. After a few steps, "Watanabe-san." Rin Kiyono-san. Toru Watanabe turned around. "If you miss me so much, why don't you come back to Iwate Prefecture with me for New Year's?" Rin Kiyono took a deep breath. "Okay." "What did you say?" "Do you think they'd be willing to see me during New Year's, where they'd want to see you go bankrupt and still congratulate you on the surface?" "I'm asking you what you just said." Rin Kiyono brushed her long hair away from her shoulders. "We'll meet at Shia Station at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning." This time, she turned around and left first. "I bought a ticket for 7 a.m. Forget it." Toru Watanabe took a deep breath and relaxed his shoulders. If the snow wants to fall, then let it fall. If he didn't vent his emotions, he wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So, he decided to run back. This was the story of their first Christmas together. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.